dream of us is magic. The dream of us is magic. Close enough to kiss you. I take my chances in another life, 'cause in this one you can't be mine. Don't you look at me that way, 'cause I could just leave, but that wouldn't mean good. Yeah, gin, no juice, just useless moves. Not taking hearts, no use to you, but it still feels good just laying by you. The dream of us is magic. 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 The dream of us is magic.
Yeah, we can hear you, Aaron. Yeah. I can hear myself through yours as well, which is really weird. Yo, how's it going, guys? How's everyone doing? We are live now, by the way, as well. So, anything you say swearing is just to Emma anyway, because she's Welsh and weird.
Why are we swearing at Emma?
I don't know, but I mean, Emma just wanted to call me an English fuck just for a change, you know. So I thought I'd give her some shit back. But yeah, no, we obviously plan to do a community. Can someone tag in one of the channels?
I'm doing the whitelist announcement now.
The
saying
link.
It's live.
Yeah. Sound.
I'm napping.
I'm napping, he says. So how's everyone doing anyway? How's everyone doing? We obviously said we'd get together and do like a community Q&A. There's loads of questions been coming in, which is fantastic to see. We've got, obviously you can see who we got. We got Damon, Pris, Greg, Gory's here as well, and myself. So yeah, so there's a good range of people kicking around, people that have obviously played all sorts of walks of life within the server as well. And there's been loads and loads and loads of questions come in, which is absolutely fantastic to see. You know, I want to thank everyone that's here as well, that's tuned in watching, just for supporting the server as much as they have. We've had a good start. Obviously, it was a little bit rocky to start with. We had a few things that didn't quite go the way we wanted. But yeah, on the whole, it's been pretty darn good. So if anyone does dump questions in the YouTube chat, we will try and pick them up. We'll hopefully grab them into like a Google Doc or into the staff chat or something, so we can pick them up. But we've obviously had the tickets open, the questions for staff. They've been open for a couple of weeks now, and we've got a good few to rattle through. So we'll start right up at the top.
Yeah, if you guys have questions that come up, just throw a quick ticket in, because we're working our way from top to bottom, so you should have time, and that way it's not getting lost in the chat.
There you go. Greg's got like the perfect answer there. Yeah, just go throw the ticket in. React with the angry face in the tickets. And yeah, throw the question in. We'll work from the top and come all the way down and through. There's loads of stuff to go through. People really have asked questions across the whole sort of broad range, and you'll see. We haven't read the questions as a staff team yet, and sort of said this is the exact way. So you'll probably hear some discussion back and forth as well, which is really good. Ash, I'll translate from a non-staff perspective. Don't be a lazy bitch. Just put the question in. That's the kind of thing Greg would say.
Yeah, I would directly say that. We all know me.
So yeah, I think we might as well start at the top, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna comment on them as we answer them. I'm not gonna close them out till later on, just so we don't.
Yeah. Just drop the comments on them, and then we'll shut them out later on.
All right. First one's from Truman. He wanted to ask, when will tattoos be added, and will there be options to add custom ones? So will there be custom ones? Yes. When will they be added? Not anytime soon. Unless Jamie or Aaron want to elaborate on that more. But... Hang
on a minute. I've just seen what Aaron's become called on my bloody stream now. Jamie's mum.
You just figured that out.
I've just seen it. I'm like, what? I think Gory's probably the best one to take this question, Aaron.
Okay. They will be coming soon. Currently, as you guys are aware, bug fixes are our priority. We're currently down to 12, which is good. So we're making headway with all the bug fixes. Like
beats the fucking 100 we had.
My honest answer is I don't know as to how far down the road currently. We're currently working on a roadmap so we can determine what's going to be coming and that we can share with you guys as well. So you guys kind of have an insight as to how we're going to be working along doing it. Yeah, they'll definitely be coming. Custom ones will 100% be coming as well. I've had a few people ask me about doing custom designs for the server, which would be awesome. So yeah, that's as far as I can kind of go with that. I know it's a very cryptic answer, which isn't very helpful. But they will be coming, but 100%. I just can't say as of when just yet.
Might as well leave your mic unmuted because the next one's definitely for you too.
So yeah, the main thing from all that question really is that we're going to put a roadmap together. Me and Aaron have both said we need to sit down. We're going to throw a roadmap together. Once we've got the roadmap, we're going to throw it onto the forums. We're going to make it look a little bit prettier. We're going to try and split it into sort of columns. We're going to split it, one into like emergency services, one into legal, one into illegal, and then one just like server general sort of column. So you can sort of follow a bit of a track down of the direction we want to take in all the different areas. But
you just made that roadmap so much more difficult for me when I converted over to like the non-staff version.
Yeah,
perfect.
But just remember that the like a roadmap is a roadmap. It's an idea. It's a chain that we want to try and follow. But there might be other things that just sneak in front of other things because we might come up against a roadblock with one, so we won't carry on wasting our time. We'll jump around it. Sometimes we'll do something else, come back and go, oh damn, we just worked out how to fix the first one. So just bear that in mind.
All right, Aaron, next question from Pablo. Could it be or could be okay, whatever. He's asking he's asking if it's possible to have fake license plates or the ability to remove a plate from your car in the future.
Yes, that's going to be a thing. I spoke with staff about it actually the other day. So we're going to be looking into it so you can have the ability to go to specific vehicles, maybe incorporate it into the chop shop. So when you chop a vehicle, you can then seize the plate potentially, but then obviously they get flagged as stolen. So I'll need to sit down and have a think of how to do it, but we'll definitely be bringing that in.
All right, next question's from Snow. I can't fucking say his name. He's literally asking, we just covered it. It's the roadmap. So we just covered that. LDM.
One in the thingy about DLC cars. When will cars be coming? Like DLC cars, are we waiting on the economy to be adjusted? No, we're not waiting on the economy. So basically there's still a lot of stuff that we're going to be rolling out. We've released a few cars the other day, not like fully custom imports, but we've rolled out 3 cars this week. which we've kind of teased one on the PDM floor.
4 cars. Come on, get it right. 4 cars.
Oh, 4 cars. Sorry, we've released 4 cars. We've got a lot more to come. It's just the fact that we have to, like, we've got Clad working endlessly on it, dealing with all the handling and stuff, making sure none are too overpowered. So we will be rolling more out as and how through the weeks. And then once we've got all the cars that we want to get out that way, we're going to start releasing like fully custom imported ones as well.
Honestly, right, Gory's your typical dev Ash. He never follows the procedure. At the start, Greg goes, right, if you got a problem, if you got a question, put it as a ticket. Gory's like, no, we'll just read the first one in the chat. What a dick.
Mainly because the next question is the exact same thing. What is the estimated time frame on imported vehicles being added in? If you don't have a time frame set yet, what type of vehicle should we be expecting?
So we're looking
at vehicles.
Yeah, we're looking at all the sort of DLC stuff first to come in. Maybe a couple of imports along the way, but you'll see mainly the imports come in after the DLC's sort of been tidied up.
Whoever wants to go,
kind of breaking that one. We've got a drifting track coming very soon. It's in progress as we speak. So that's going to be coming along with like a mechanic store / shop in the same area. So we're going to be pushing out 1 or 2 drift cars, probably a little bit earlier than everything else, just so we can start bringing more RP that way. I had a conversation with Clad about it today, and he said to me, like, do we want to do that before we do everything else? My answer was yes, primarily because it's RP scenario. Rather than just everyone wanting to get a fully custom car, this one actually boosts more RP between people, where you have a tutor, you can go and learn, or you can become an instructor, you can get a drift license and things like that. That's basically how we're going to kind of go down that route as well.
I mean, whoever wants to go spend $110,000 for a 96 Honda Civic hatchback right now, go for it.
Hey, don't talk shit about that car. Don't talk shit about that car.
All kinds of shit about that car.
Okay, well, you haven't really driven it, so really.
No, it's a fucking 96 Honda Civic.
All right. All right.
$110,000.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Next question: Will a casino be added? Poker, blackjack, slots, wheel spin, etc.
Not in the immediate future, no, because it's just shit. To put it politely.
You're thinking the actual casino, though.
Yeah.
We
like,
discussed
poker, blackjack, gambling. It isn't high on the priority list.
Yeah, we discussed having it maybe in like bars or random spots. We're not going to have a giant fuck off casino that every time someone drives through it, they fall through the map. Yeah,
we're not planning on putting the building sneezy. That shit's just yeah. Enough said about the casino. There may be some gambling stuff go towards like mini games at like your bars. Maybe Yellow Jack gets some or something like that, and whatnot. But
next one: when are player obtainable houses being introduced, and will they be their own private place, e.g., not a joint building, and instead entirely separate house from others?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll go for the long and short of it. So basically, with the housing, it's still underway. You'll be able to buy, so similar to other servers where you can buy like 1 door per building. So if you want to have 4 of you buy a house, ultimately you can. You'll still be able to have your own interior. We've got different staged interiors as well. So we've got like the bog standard one, which you'll see when you're doing house robberies on Grove. Then we've got like an updated interior, which basically is the same as Michael's mansion layout. The upside to this as well, I can't remember if I told you guys this before, is basically when an REA sells you a house, they'll also have the ability to design your interior for you. So not only is it just a case of, oh, hey, here's some money, I want this house, and they set you a door up and whatever, they can actually come into your house with you. You can tell them what you want, and they'll be able to design your house and purchase stuff on your behalf and lay it around the house. Equally, you'll be able to do that yourself as well. But obviously, REAs will get a discount in terms of price. As to when it comes, it's like I say, it's still very much underway. I've got it to the point now where you can set the houses to sell. I've got it to the point where you can now buy the items, the decorations for the interior. It's just a case of making sure it's perfected. There's all bug fixes are done on it, or to the best that I can. And then I need to figure out some kind of way where things can be flagged as sold and not sold. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's still got a little bit more to go with it. Obviously, again, it's been put on hold for now just to make sure we get all the current bugs sorted, so you guys have no real issues when you're playing on the server.
You're gonna have Swedish Dave message you now asking if you can start up fucking IKEA.
Without a doubt. Can't wait to see the Swedes with the meatballs.
Okay, the next question is, one, she wrote a goddamn book, and two, it is mainly involving one of their ideas, so I'm not going to go into it too in depth.
That one's and out of the Q&A, I think, isn't it? But yeah, touch on the business side with it,
Yeah, so regarding this, pretty much if you own a business, can it be something where you can have your own hiring, firing, that kind of thing, jobs? And the general answer is yes, depending on the business and stuff like that. We can look at adding like a whitelisted role in it for you, so you can have different jobs within it, like say a diner, they can have a cook or something like that, stuff like that. Corey, I don't know if you want to touch on that more.
Yeah, that's fun. So basically, if you guys are aware of how like PDM works as it stands, and the same as the mechanics, is basically you have a managerial role which can hire and fire other people. Equally, they have access to their own things like door locks, etc. So adding custom business code is going to be relatively straightforward as to how we've created it. Ultimately, what we'll do is we'll just make it a whitelisted job. The person that then owns the business will be defined as the manager, of which they'll be able to hire and fire and stuff. In terms of pay will be a little bit different. I need to kind of sit down and work out what I'm going to do, but the way I'm looking at it currently is we potentially set up a tax bracket. So every time that you earn X amount of money from whether it be RP or a period of time, you will then be taxed a certain amount, and then either you can distribute money to each person through RP, which to some extent would be good, but in others could be a pain in the ass. Or equally, we can then just do it so it pays you X amount of time whilst you are clocked in doing that said thing that you're hired to do.
Biggest thing on that is we're just going to make sure there's no way it's going to get blatantly abused.
Yeah. And it's not one of these things where we just want to, you want to own a business and it wants to be a whitelisted job, and then you want to be able to employ people but not have to have the responsibility of being the business owner and being able to employ and pay your staff as such. So I mean,
sure.
you've got to be able to make your business successful and be able to run it, and we don't just want to here's free money, pay your staff. We're happy to pay them the living wage, which is the social check as a minimum.
Yeah, which we basically do for PDM and the mechanics. Mechanics have the RP charge there, so they get paid. I think it's like $20 every X minutes. On top of that, obviously they can make what they want based off of how much they charge each person. PDM works very much the same way, apart from they work on a commission basis. So every time they sell a vehicle, they get a commission from that on top of their $15 to $20 like automatic pay rate. The only thing that we kind of need to touch base on as staff before we start looking at stuff like that as well is in terms of inactivity. Obviously, we want people to be active. We all know you obviously have a life outside of this as well. But on the flip side to that, like Jamie was saying, we don't want someone to take over a business and own their own business and just be like AFK for 6 months and then come back to a shitload of money made or whatever.
Collect a load of cash and they've done fuck all for it.
I'm personally more along the lines of the manager has to pay their people, because if people are earning money for them, the manager just fucks off, then they're going to be like, well, I'm not getting paid, fuck this, and they're going to fuck off. So it's
exactly. Even if there's a way that we can set up that like the earnings go into an account like the police funds and that do, and then the wage for that job comes out of that fund, and then when it goes empty there's no wages. There's stuff like that we'll probably look into, and then maybe the business owner can set the wage. I'm sure we can write a SQL query to change that based upon what they set it at.
Good, move on to the next.
Sneezy, put a fucking ticket in, bro. Sorry.
All right. The next one, the next one is, what are the plans of the future to bring more people to the server? A lot of people are already getting bored and just think there's nothing new going on. This, I think, is more of a general kind of address as we go, and then if there's more questions regarding that, we can kind of touch on at the end. Unless any of you want to say anything on it.
Yeah, so
Oh, God, James.
yeah, so the way we're kind of trying to push at the minute, obviously we want to get all our bugs and that fixed before really we start going like full ham and going, yo, yeah, try and invite decent sized people across to bring big audiences, or push our like social media too hard, because people come in and straight away if they see the servers like full of bugs, like the phone where it bugs out every 5 minutes and they're opening that up on a stream, people are going to look at the server and go, no, actually I'm good. So we're kind of being a little bit reserved at the minute in the terms of promoting the server and pushing it forward too much. But obviously in the terms of new things coming, the server's not going to be like, we're not going to announce everything that goes into the server, as I'm sure you're quite aware. We're just going to drop stuff in and let you stumble across it in RP, or when you weirdos that have gone down the Dora Explorer route of making fucking grid maps and you're crossing them all off. We're going to put shit in the way you've already crossed off just to be annoying and make you cross it again.
Yeah, so, I mean, like the frustrating thing on like my end, I don't know if I've ever raised it before, is basically like I can spend a lot of time programming stuff up for you guys to use, but then the frustrating side for me, which kind of took the wind out of my sails, probably the second or third weekend, is the fact that everything that got pushed in took a while to make, but it got found and used within X amount of days. And then there was no real need to find it or use it at that given time. My kind of expectation level was the fact that everyone would kind of go about their RP, and then if it made sense for them to find that, then they went and found it. But a lot of it got meted, unfortunately, from beta testers. They knew what was there, they knew what to look for, and things like that. That's just is what it is. Hence why we don't show the changelog to everyone anymore as well, because then obviously as soon as someone sees something's been pushed, they go hunting for it instantly, even though in character they shouldn't know about it, but out of character they know exactly what it is and where it's potentially going to be. So that's why we just like we trickle release basically.
Yeah, and we don't see the need to hold on to like 3 or 4 different things and then go boom, let's just hit the server in one weekend. If something's ready, it goes in. If we're happy, it's at the point where we think it's stable and it's ready for you guys, like mainly Legos to go out and break it, to be honest. Then we throw it in and then we wait for the next morning to wake up and go, right, yeah, Legos broke it because she's a Zoomer and she's just like spammed the living hell out of all of a keyboard.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why like equally why like we've slowed down on releasing certain stuff as well, because everyone did jump straight on the fact of finding things instantly. So I was like, right, I'm just going to slow it down because people are just running around looking for stuff that they don't really need within their RP scenario as it stood. So it didn't really make sense. So people were just finding stuff, they're grinding everything, and now they're like, oh, hey, we're bored. But then ultimately the people that have gone and found everything only have themselves to blame because they've gone and found everything they didn't need to find.
Can we get a ticket scoreboard? Honestly, Ash, if we had a ticket scoreboard, Legos would be the top of that, just like crafting.
Yeah. Feels like RP isn't rewarded, all the stuff feels feature-based or ground-based, exactly. And that's what we don't want. We don't want people to rely on features and stuff. We want people to make their own RP. We want people to make their own stories. Unfortunately, it's mindset of people. That's the downside. People have the mindset where they need to rely on, whether it be money or whether it be materials or whatever. There's no real role play there. It's a case of, oh, I'm just going to get in and grind, which is not what we want to see, which is why the cash economy side of it is a bit more difficult. Obviously, it has been boosted a lot since we last had our like release launch stream. Yeah, I think people's mindset just needs to change a little bit and not be too much on the case of, oh, I need to grind and start building an actual story for their characters and stuff and actually going with a role play.
Yeah, just remember in Vybe, like, money is not everything. Yeah, money's almost unimportant. Focusing on other things is probably up there in Vybe. Go on, Greg. Keep us moving. Don't let's stay on one thing too long.
All right. The next one is actually going to be more for me. And again, another book, but the gist of it is someone's asking if they can make a pet cop NPC and be a cop. No.
No. Just no.
No. So, and we talked about this a little bit in staff just for the meeting. So like we say, like, you know, semi-realistic, content-based stuff like that. It's a hard thing to explain, but it's more related to like the driving, the way you act out certain scenarios, stuff like that. We're not too strict on, but like still, like we have a legal system that's set up to be, you know, for the most part, realistic, or at least act semi-realistic. The same with the police. We kind of expect that behavior. We still expect like the police force to be professional and realistic for the most part. Again, you can hit jumps, you can do shit like that, you can fuck around at store robbery, stuff like that. But apparently there's been a lot of complaining lately, and honestly, none of it's coming to me. Like, if you have an issue with the police, like, please reach out to me. Like, yes, I can be a dick sometimes, I will fully admit that, but I'm usually either to the point.
Sometimes.
Like, I will fully admit I'm 100% to the point, or I will admit when I'm in the wrong.
Yeah.
So if you bring up something and say I don't like the way this is, I'll either tell you why it is that way, or I'll admit, yeah, it's something we should look at. But that's the gist of it. The same with, you know, I've in character bitch people out because they look like the fucking Monopoly man on duty. Like, that shit's not gonna fly. I'm sorry. Like, I still expect you to at least look like a goddamn cop. So back to this question, is it just like the NPCs, they don't, I get the idea behind this person's role playing. It's kind of a funny idea. It just doesn't make sense because of the way we have, you know, the way we look and stuff like that. And I mean, really, to be honest, all you're going to do is get knocked out by either cops or the random passerbys that see the NPC cops and fucking attack them right off the start anyways. So
Definitely.
All right.
Gombians is the next with the cigarettes to 24/7 for stress. Obviously, we kind of touched on it earlier. Stress is something that's going to be sort of reevaluated. There is going to be legal ways to reduce stress. I'm gonna bring Damien on this one though. I think he can tell you how to relieve stress now, legally as a cop.
Go to the hospital. Ask a doctor to give you a massage. It removes your stress.
I mean, there you go. But yeah, I know Gory wants to work on some other ways of, you know, bringing stress in. I know there was a suggestion come up the other day, was perhaps look at like grabbing a shake or something from Pops's Diner that's now running. You know, sit down on your feet or something like that. But yeah, there's going to be ways that come in.
There's currently 2 methods, isn't there?
Well, 2 that involve getting stuff. Well, not really. I'm just gonna say it. Unless anyone wants me to not say it, I'm just gonna say it. I
mean, it's been there for a while, so if nobody knows about it, then
yeah, if people don't know that they need to smoke weed to fucking reduce stress.
Everyone knows about weed. So you can smoke weed to reduce stress. You can go diving to reduce stress, and then there's the hospital. So when you're healed, so either obviously an admin heal or a doctor heal or going to the bed all takes away your stress.
I think so hence scuba diving.
No, I don't think anyone's honestly, I was testing it one night and I think you have to be down for a while for it to actually do anything.
Yeah.
But
fucking Gary, 420 blaze it.
Okay, I'll be straight honest. The next fucking person that asks me as a cop, can I smoke weed on duty? I'm telling you to go to fucking NV, can do it there. Because it's so goddamn annoying. Stop trying to smoke drugs on fucking duty. I get it. It sucks. We don't have a lot of options right now, but it is what it is. Though there will be more.
But yeah, we'll push out cigarettes probably this week for stress reduction. It won't take too long.
Wait, I'm just gonna be and respond in the YouTube thing. Are you actually like maxed out? Can you not open any more tickets right now?
Let me close that one out.
Did we put a cap on tickets?
Yeah, 5 tickets. They can't open more than 5 at a time.
Katie said some people aren't comfortable giving massages as a doctor, only a few will. I mean, so equally, you could, rather than saying like the massage side of stuff, you could just turn around and say that go and get in our therapeutic chamber or something, and then just check them in, and they'll equally do the same thing. You just don't need to RP it out. You can just go in there and talk to them and shit, you know.
Just tell
we don't
just
obviously
tell them,
you're not
just
comfortable with. We don't expect you to do.
Tell them you're gonna get them a bed for like 5 minutes. Just lie down and take it easy. Look at the lights and just chill.
I mean, if Ava stabs you, she has to help you back up too, which will help.
So what Damien's saying is just go and piss Ava off. You'll get stabbed, and then you'll be good.
Okay. Next one. Weapon serial numbers, ETA. It would be super helpful for the above average detective RP stuff. Also, can we please get knives added to MRPD as part of our standard loadout? We respond to burglaries on Grove Street. Subjects run at us with knives because they don't aggro the locals. We end up trying to defend ourselves and have to fight. No, you're not stabbing fucking people as a cop. In reference to evidence, DNA and fingerprints left on scene, is there a time limit for which this sticks around? If not, can there be? There is a time limit. So I've actually just recently addressed that part with the recent court case. We've said this time and time again, but we're not going to allow people using server mechanics as defenses in court. It's been happening quite a bit now. And we've kind of told DOJ, like, the judge has been pretty good at just kind of stepping in and just shutting it down. Because we don't want to step in as staff, but if it continues, we're going to start stepping as staff and just saying stop using fucking server mechanics. So yes, there's a time frame on how long that sticks around for, and serial numbers, I believe that kind of stuff we just put on hold until we get the new MDT. Ava, I saw earlier you asked about your medical MDT. It's the same thing. It's tied into the new police one that's coming in. So once we get the new one, you guys will be getting your medical MDT finally as well. And now it's Corey's problem to answer because I don't know any more about the situation.
Yeah, we did do something with serial numbers, didn't we? Where if you hovered over it, it showed the registered owner.
Yeah, I think there's a small bug
There's
issue
a small
with
bug
it.
somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's bugged.
When you look in their inventory, you can hover over the gun. It should say who purchased it at the bottom, along with a serial number. Now, at some point, it will work. I'm going to look into getting it fixed. Initially, it worked fine. Apart from obviously when you purchased it from like a black market dealer or whatever, it would come in with like half the numbers on rather than a full number. But I'll look into that again this week and obviously get that patched, which won't take long at all to sort in that regard, just to kind of give you guys a bit more help along the way until we get the MDT rolled out, which I think isn't very far away from when I last spoke to Mike.
Mike's in chat. I have seen Mike kicking around in the YouTube chat.
He probably got bored.
Hi, Mike, if you're there.
He asked when he was going to be
get server owner.
But yeah, that'll be all. And like,
Yeah,
like you said
hopefully
before,
that helps. We'll get pushed. I'll push some fixes out to kind of aid with that for now until we get the new MDT.
There he is. There he is. Look, I did mod him so we can see him. Yeah.
Awesome, Mike. Appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, it's the same with phones too. Like, there's some bugs with the phones, and it's been the same thing. We're just saying, hey, we're waiting. We're gonna do one coming in, so there's no point in wasting dev time fixing something that's gonna get replaced in the near future.
I mean, groundbreaking stuff will fix on the phones. I know there's a little bit more of a wait on the phone. I spoke to Mike about it briefly a couple of days ago, actually, and I know that we're going to be pushing it in later on in the next few months, hopefully, to kind of test through it, make sure it works good. And then kind of go from there with it and see how we progress. But we'll see how we go with that one. Obviously, if there is anything groundbreaking that needs instant work on the phones, make a ticket, let us know. We'll get it fixed 100%. You know, we will, like, as you've seen with all the other reports and stuff and the amount of fixes that have been going in as and where it needed to be. We're very proactive on getting stuff sorted.
On what you just asked there, Ava, so my intent kind of is to have a couple of us go in once Mike's ready and take a look at it before it gets launched, but we don't want fucking the entire LSPD and LSES command getting in there and harassing him. It'll only be a very few people. So I think Twitter's fixed now, Gambian.
Yeah, I cleared the database on that. So basically, that's another issue we ran into. Everyone was asking whether we could prevent Twitter from clearing every restart. This is exactly why we had it, to do that, because after so long, it would start to flood and fill up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to let it roll for like a week, and then I'm just going to drop the database and clear it. So you'll have a full week's worth of tweets, unless it starts to slow down prior to that. And then obviously we'll clear the database again.
Yeah.
And just before we move on to the next one, just to kind of your whole question about knives there, Kelly. If excuse me, if we find people are purposely abusing that just so they don't aggro the locals and the locals all fight the cops and not them, if it becomes an issue, we'll address it.
Just delete it and install MySpace. Gary, you're such a boomer, man. I love it.
Oh.
Half of these people in chat won't even know what MySpace is.
Yeah, get your little tune that when you click on their MySpace, like your little own personal music.
Oh, man.
Okay, next one. What's the staff team's opinion on radios? Obviously not including LSPD radios. Do you believe them to be benefit to roleplay? Are there things you'd like to see changed? I guess my question is a loaded one. I'm of the opinion they're used and reduce the amount of roleplay that can occur because people can just immediately jump on the radio, no matter the situation, having no creativity think about the situation. So I would like to know how the staff team feels about them and if things are ever going to change with them.
So our initial plan with the radios, and it will definitely be a thing at some stage, is to reduce the reach of the radio.
Yeah.
I.e., if you're in Legion and someone's in Polito and you're having a conversation with them, that's not going to be a thing for much longer. We're going to be reducing that massively. So maybe a 100, 200 meter radius.
I know when me and Aaron first spoke about this, we talked about if someone was robbing the bank at Legion, you'd be around about the red garage area. And then the red garage area down to Burger Shot, you'd be able to hear the person in the middle both, but obviously the two people at either end wouldn't hear each other.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we talked about that. Obviously, that's a huge pain in the ass from a dev perspective.
Basically, that encourages then that you've got to think about it in your mind when you're planning something out. If you want to be able to communicate around the whole city, you've got to set people up to be, relays.
Yeah. What scumbag is selling drugs in Polito during our community meeting?
Sorry, that's me.
Are you surprised?
Chris, are you in the server?
Yeah, hopefully that answers the question. Hopefully that does solve the question. We will be looking into reducing the overall radius of the radio usage.
There's some other fun toys I'm trying to get for the police side of things too, if I can ever convince Corey to fucking add them for me. So there's going to be pluses and negatives. It just...
Yeah. Things that get added always have a counter to them. So whenever me and Gory sit down and we look at something, we go, right, what's the counter to this? What do we need to add in to make it not overpowered on both sides? So there's always a way to sort of someone's got the opportunity to involve them in RP the other side. And that's why the drug things, now you see that there's police calls on it. It's only a low percentage chance, but it's to engage more role play and not just make it a mindless, I can just run in a plane all day long.
Yeah, same as radio scanners with people. You guys have probably realized radio scanners now pick up police calls as and how, which equally opens the door for more potential role play, which equally as well shows if you're carrying a radio scanner doing a drug run and you get that drug run call come through to you fully know that the police have equally got that, so you can kind of dip if you need to prior. So as Jamie said, there's always going to be a counter measure for each side.
It's just finding the measure. It's just finding that counter and finding it and discovering it.
Finding the measure, ensuring that the measure isn't too overpowered, but equally we don't want to counterbalance absolutely everything, because if we do that, there's going to be no role play. It's just gonna be a game of cat and mouse, and that's not what we want. We want people to be able to have fun roleplay, make good content. Like we said before, it's not a case of it being full realism. We want people to have a good time and have a laugh and actually roleplay shit out together.
Yeah.
Ricky, I'm never doing robberies again when you guys are testing things. I can't imagine why.
Yeah. By the way, don't go OOC on your phone when texting. Ricky.
Like some of you have discovered, everything, and I do mean everything, is logged. So if we have to search shit up and we find stuff, and you're the unfortunate bastard that's going, oh, see what we're searching.
Or if we just sat there, two of us watching the server log, and we're like, huh?
I mean, just as a case in point for you guys to kind of realize how much we logged, if you pull out your gun and shoot one bullet, it logs.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the measures we've gone to ensure how much stuff does get logged, so we can trail back through things if there's a player report.
Yeah, we can always
all
go
and find
back.
it.
We can always go back and find out times of everything, your log on times, exactly what
We
you
can
did,
see,
what was added
how
to your
much money
inventory,
you
what
gave
was
to
taken
someone,
away.
Yep.
where you got it from, if you pick shit up off the ground, where you
Whether
got
you
it from.
stole police armor from a vehicle, like a police car.
What
Metro.
we can see what the plate number of the car was, what slot you took it out of, what slot inventory you put it into.
And the long and short of it is, I'll give you the rundown. We're what, 5 weeks in now? 5 weeks into it being live, we have over 1 million rows of data in terms of logs. So bearing in mind we've not really surpassed 60 players at any given point. 1 million rows of data is quite a lot of actions in 5 weeks. So that's just kind of the extent of how we log stuff.
Ash, you can ask Kelly about that one. Moving on.
That's the boss.
Is anything going to be addressed about people robbing stores in Paleto? Obviously, officers will respond when possible, but I feel people are not doing it for the RP, which is the main goal, or rather anything being done about or what are the team's thoughts on it?
So, the community meeting, stop being a bunch of fucking shitlords and robbing in Paleto just because you want cash.
If you guys haven't noticed, when I'm on rep scene, we catch people that are just fucking chain robbing shit up in Paleto. We hammer the shit out of them. Like, there's no reductions. They get every charge and they go to jail. It's a double-edged sword because it's kind of why we said, like, when it comes to robbing stuff too, if you rob, 2-3 stores max is kind of like what we want to see from us. Like, if you rob 2 or 3 stores and still no cops show up, at that point, you're no longer doing it for RP. And that's when we're stepping in as staff. Prior to that, that's when we're just kind of allowing the cops to deal with it. So if it continues to be an issue, it might be one of those things where I bug the shit out of Aaron and tell him to up the time it takes to hit cash registers again. Again, there's counters to things. For instance, police, we now have a very, very fast Mustang. That's intent is to be up in the Paleto highway rural areas anyways.
Hell yeah, bro. I've been in it all day up in Paleto.
Yeah, so...
No one's robbed anything up there for me today.
So again,
the long and short of it is it's all about the role play. I mean, obviously cash does play a part for most people in terms of like materialistic things that they want and need. But ultimately you need to do it for the role play rather than just a case of money grind. Because we could give out $1 million to all of you, right? And then you'd be like, oh, I'm so bored. But at the end of the day, you're bored because you've got all the money. But there's no need for the money because it's meant to be a role play based server, not just a cash grind. I mean, if it needs to be a cash grind, we can just yeet out all of the features and turn this into like business tycoon RP instead. Do you know what I mean?
Please, 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 if you play a criminal, don't turn around and ask for fucking no spikes, no air one and shit like that. Right? It's the dumbest.
I'm gonna straight tell you to fuck off.
It's the dumbest fucking thing in the world. I don't want to see a helicopter because, dude, you're then taking the cops RP away from them. You know? Get something for yourselves.
This, I actually, now that you brought that up, this is something I addressed in a meeting we have with all the gang leaders too, but just so the whole community's aware. From both the cop and the staff side of the house, like we don't like, I'll give you my gun for free passage isn't gonna fly. Like we, like it's lazy RP. It's even hostages. Just because you have a hostage doesn't always mean we're gonna just let you go. So you got to kind of put, when you're robbing stuff, again, it's supposed to be for RP. We want to like these lazy robberies of I have a hostage, I want free passage, I go on a pursuit, try not to crash, might crash kind of thing. Like, again, you got to look at it from like the people RPing as cop side. Like just doing that time and time again gets boring. That's why we want to see, like, we've seen a lot of very creative ways for robberies, creative ways of getting out of the robbery. Like there's 1,000 different ways you can get out of a robbery without having a hostage. You just need to use your brains.
Yeah.
I mean, I sat there and watched Clad's and Royce's stream the other day, and they put together a very well constructed robbery.
Yeah.
They didn't go to plan, but it was very well constructed. Like Royce was working as a chicken factory worker, as an example, whilst they done everything else, and the plan was I was going to go through, give Royce the money, Royce act like he's a chicken worker. Obviously, you'd still get questioned and stuff by the police, but the idea and the concept was there. It wasn't a case of, I'm going to go and steal money from this, and then I'm going to drive as quickly as I can to lose the cops. It's more constructed, and like, you guys have probably seen other robberies from Clad & Co. as well, where they've got like a chopper waiting, or they've got a boat waiting in a river somewhere.
fucking.
And that's how they plan this stuff.
These motherfuckers, him and I think Diaz might have been the first I seen that had scuba gear and just dived off a bridge. I was like, you asshole. But yeah.
Again, there's many ways around it. And again, this is some stuff. Cops might have counters that are ready to go for it. They might not. Like, there's certain things that they might have to run back because, you know, you can't just spawn a boat or spawn a helicopter or any of that kind of shit here. They have to go to certain points to get them.
Yeah.
So
They have to go to certain places.
which then creates their delay. Like, again, if what was it? The crew, was it crew the other night robbed a bank, and we had Air One out because we were dealing with something else, and they just happened to rob the bank, so they kind of got fucked because we had Air One on station. Versus other times we have to run back and get it, stuff like that. So there is stuff in place for both sides to kind of keep things at least balanced. Because again, as cops, we have things that are very OP, but there's both server mechanics as well as SOPs to kind of keep it balanced. So there's not always right there. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Also remember that the server rule only says that you can only have 4 people at the actual, robbery itself. I mean, as soon as you're out of the robbery, I mean, you can have up to like 8 or 9, 10 people help you. Like that, like Gombi coming in saying, obviously shit despawns. It does. Have someone else waiting with the car. Just have them leaning up against it. I mean, they were leaning against the car. They're not going to get in no shit by the police just because the 4 of you got out and got in another one.
We might question you.
You get questioned. I was just standing here smoking, dude. He took my car.
I mean, the other night someone did something incredibly suspicious, and we questioned the ever living fuck out of them. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, that's
role play. That's role play. The conversation.
It was like the same with the court case today. Like, the court case today was a perfect example of why there should be court RP, because there was enough evidence from the cop side to put certain people at a certain place. So there was, again, but there wasn't everything you possibly needed. So that's a perfect reason for court RP.
Yeah. And the court RP the other day when we had the whole of the crew in court, I thought that was brilliant because half of them actually got away with most of the charges that were getting thrown against them because lack of evidence getting presented and different things. There was some things that we didn't enjoy about it, but hey, it is what it is. And the RP in the court itself was actually fun.
Stop calling people salty in character, please. Thanks. Yeah, I kind of agree with that one, to be fair.
If I hear anyone say win mentality in character, you're getting fucking yeeted on the spot. Challenge me on that.
3 days, enjoy.
I mean, that's the other side to it as well. You guys have seen like the transparency of us and how we issue warnings and how we ban people and how quickly we'll ban people if they step out of line. At the end of the day, like, it's not a serious roleplay server, but we have very relaxed rules that people need to follow, and a lot of people tend to struggle. We've issued a number of bans over the past 5 weeks. I don't think any have been permanently banned, but
just one.
There's been one.
Just one perm ban, haven't we? That's it.
Yeah, I think our longest currently is like 7, maybe 14 days at best, in terms of that. But again, it's the whole transparency side of things. We want people to enjoy themselves and have a laugh. If you get caught doing a robbery or whatever, you get caught, go with it. Make the story. Find another way around it. Yeah, you got caught doing a robbery, but bullshit it, make the role play, make the story up as you go. Same with the cops. Like, cops do a good job. I do see some cops that are just like, I don't want none of this shit. I'm just going to arrest you and book you and stuff. Same scenario. If that's your mentality currently, then just get off the server for the night, chill out, whatever, come back the next day fresh headed and be like, yeah, all right, I'm going to come back and do a good story with this person,
There's a reason, like, I usually switch between characters per day, or like I play Repsy one day and I play my Crim character the day, so that doesn't happen.
Because he wants Callie to catch him.
Kelly's not gonna catch him.
Callie's gonna catch him, bro.
She's trying. She's been trying since day one.
And we also threaten to leave the server, aka wake up anymore because we got caught. Well, if anyone does threaten to leave the server or not wake up anymore, just throw a report in, and then they won't have to wake up anymore. They won't have access to the server.
We'll make sure that they can't.
Because things like that is ridiculous, and if someone does threaten to do that because they've been caught, send me a fucking DM and I'll ban them right there and then, because it's ridiculous and childish. And at the end of the day, yes, we're 5 weeks in. Yes, there might be some bad eggs here that have got through the whitelist application potentially, maybe not. At the end of the day, a server is what makes the person the way they are. Hopefully the mentality will start to change. If not, then we'll guide them to learn, and if they still don't learn, then they'll just go. at the end of it.
Yeah.
On that note,
Unless
don't send Gory a DM because he'll bitch and whine in my ear. Oh, I got loads of DMs. Open a ticket and we'll fucking deal with it that way.
Or do a ticket, yeah. Bitch and whine. What do you mean? I
go
reply to
to
every DM.
Go to the staff team first, please.
Yeah, we'll deal with it.
But we will deal with it. Someone asked how many bans there's been. I think it's been like something like 12 or 13.
I can tell you. Give me a sec.
There's not been there's not been millions, but there's been enough for 5 weeks.
Yeah, there's only
Considering
been, like,
we got really relaxed rules.
one
There's
person's only been
two
permanent.
permas.
2 permas?
Yeah, that guy last week.
Yeah, I know that one.
And then the guy at the beginning.
Currently,
Yeah, well, he doesn't count.
Currently, there's 3 in place. Of which I believe one's a temp ban and 2 are perma bans. Obviously, the temp bans don't stay logged permanently because they're temporary. It just prevents you from getting in. But yeah, I know we've probably issued at least 10 so far in terms of temps.
I mean, me and Greg did 3 in one day.
Yeah. So, and to kind of go back to, just so at least people kind of have somewhat of an understanding, like where we said, like, we have very relaxed rules. If there's stuff we see as staff that we don't like, we don't just come out and warn you or ban you off the spot. Like, if it's just something like, say you're trying something out and it's just not really going with what we want to see or is somehow violating a rule, we'll reach out to you, just be like, hey, like, just don't do this. Like, you're not getting, like, we're not just warning or banning people just because.
Yeah, you tend to get the arm around you before you get banned.
However, when you try to power game a mechanic that stops you from, say, I don't know, pulling 3 coke planes out at once, and we catch you,
we
you're
see
getting
3
heated on
coke
the
planes
spot.
fall out the sky.
Yeah, stuff like that. There's no warnings. There's no discussion. You're getting banned. Like, when you're blatantly abusing mechanics, like, we're not pussyfooting around it. But warning, stuff like that, it's the mild stuff. There's no, like, we don't have any kind of thing here like you need to get 3 warnings before we ban you. Like, no, we can ban you without a warning. Like, it depends on what has happened. The same with why, if any of you have ever been involved in a player report ticket or anything like that, it's an open discussion. Like, we don't just go off of one person's side and like that. So
yeah,
we try to take everything into account at least the best we can.
Everyone gets added in, and then the outcome of the player report gets dumped into there, so everyone can see it. Everyone acknowledges it, and then the ticket gets closed.
All right. Moving on.
We're on 589, aren't we now?
Yeah. So just wanted to suggest maybe legal jobs should I just wanted to suggest maybe legal jobs should pay more, especially jobs like PDM and LSPD. With paychecks, I always hear people complaining about it, and know a lot of civilians have turned to grinding weed, which doesn't provide that much RP. I feel like the jobs that involve roleplay need a boost for that reward. As an example of what's happening now is people are grinding weed, coke, and garbage for money and materials. Most of the time doing that, 0 RP is happening. Overall, I feel like better paying legal jobs can help with interactions as a whole. I'm not going to lie, the interaction between people is really low. Thank you and bless you.
I mean, again, it's another cash mentality side there, unfortunately. As far as I was aware, I mean, we can chuck out another poll whether you think legal jobs need to be boosted. I'm pretty sure illegal ones are at a decent standing. We don't want to keep increasing pay left, right, and center at the end of the day, because then it will just become ridiculous. And yeah, everyone will have all the money they ever want, and the RP will go downhill because there is no real supply and demand, I guess. Which is how I kind of envisioned a lot of this stuff was supply and demand, like the material side for crafting. Crafting is very much a supply and demand thing.
Yeah. And I mean,
you can't just go and do it, you know?
The legal jobs in the city, I mean, they're not meant to pay as much as going out and being able to do illegal shit.
It's a risk and reward, right?
Doing illegal shit, you're going to get caught at some point. It's a matter of when you get caught and how often.
I mean, it's no different to real life if you look at it in this regard. I'm a developer, I earn X amount of money, but if I was a cocaine dealer, I'd be earning fucking a lot more. Do you know what I mean? It's the same scenario. I'm not going to go and sell coke to make more money.
And the same with the LSPD and the LSES jobs. The pay scale at the bottom is pretty poor. I'm not even gonna lie. You don't get paid a lot to be just an average cop, but you've got no responsibility other than to be an average cop. As you get
And
higher
stop
up the
getting
ranks,
fucking HR reports would be nice. Thank you.
as you get up the higher in the ranks, the pay gets a lot better. Trust, it is there.
Yeah, it
You've
does.
just got to get the promotions. The incentive is there to get promoted.
But equally, again, like the cops don't get paid stupid amounts of money because they. I want to
They
say
don't pay for anything.
In, most words, in the long and short of it is, cops get forced RP. If you look at it in that regard,
Yeah.
you'll go on duty fully knowing you're going to get RP at some point through that day. Whereas, if you could go on as a crim and go, I'm just going to go and do this all day, and there could be little to no RP whatsoever. So that, but again, it's the whole. This is what you're here to do. You're here to role play, and make stories, not earn $10 million in like 10 minutes at the end of the day. So
The economy is based on, you know, what, like mostly like some semi-realistic, like even the lowest paying position as police right now, I think you get paid almost double of any other legal job outside of emergency services, which is how it should be. Like, we're not going to base cop pay off what a fucking cocaine dealer makes an hour.
Yeah. No.
but then the living costs are low as well.
Yeah, cop
and-
literally pays for nothing. Greg pays all your health insurance. He pays all the fucking repair bills down at Flash Autos or
Stop
FAP.
repairing your fucking car because you got a dent. I'm tired of getting $100 fucking bills because
Bro.
you wanted a goddamn dent removed.
Bro, I go down there and fucking ask for him just to wash it.
I fucking hate you guys so much.
I mean, it's fine. It's just everything around it is based on the grind, which is really bad for server health. Yeah, but that again, Gombi, that's the mentality thing. People feel they have to grind for stuff. So until people shake that mentality, that will always be the server health, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're trying, like, again, with Vybe, we're not trying to be like other servers, right? Like, the whole point is Vybe is supposed to have its own thing. So, like, you know, we're not trying to clone another fucking server and everyone come here. We want it to be our own thing. So that's gonna have its own playing style. The same thing with like legal jobs too. There's a risk and reward, right? For people who want to stay legal, because again, there's perks, like there's certain perks to being legal. There's certain things you can't do with a criminal record. There's stuff that's going to be coming out down the line too that again will be strictly for legal people, stuff like that. So yes, legal jobs are going to pay a little bit less than like obviously criminal or legal stuff, but there's no risk of, you know, say you want to be a business owner, you know, you're not risking your business over wanting to make an extra fucking bit of money an hour. So you got to look at it from that risk and reward aspect too. Same with if they, you know, if someone wants to risk their entire character story for more money, then again, there's I've lost my train of thought here because I'm trying to read something at the same time. There's a higher risk, high reward. Someone said something, I was going to comment on it, and I've completely lost my train of thought because I do that a lot.
Well, let's keep going. So Gombian's actually put this next one in. Fuck it, I'm calling him out. Wants to see a 311 system in, just like 911, but just a non-emergency number. So like people that are after, I'm guessing people that are after like interviews and stuff like that, or just want to ask like a non-emergency medical question can get in touch. I think Aaron was sort of going back and forth with him a bit. I think it's something we need to run by like Greg and Damien and all them.
Yeah, I was trying to get the concept of the general idea based off of it. It makes sense to me to have it rather than it being an emergency call where they could just query something with an officer. Makes perfect sense. Again, it's not really... I mean, I'm more than happy to do the work if everyone else feels the need for it, but it's not something I would call and be like, yeah, I'm just going to drop that in. That's why I kind of said to take it to command as well.
Me personally, I'd say it's not a bad idea. I wouldn't say it's anything priority. I get where he's coming from. I like the idea to it. It's just going to be a few other checks and balances that have to be put in place because, yes, it's really stupid to get a 911 call saying like, hey, I need an interview. So it would be nice to have a way to contact police for non-emergency or EMS for non-emergency.
Like a little bit forward sometimes.
But there'd have to be some checks and balances again, so some, you know, little salty shithead doesn't just sit there and spam it with no repercussions.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good idea. I just don't think it's anything we need to worry about right this second. And they're just gonna come up with a few checks and balances for it. But I'm on board.
Yeah, not being able to sort of anonymously call it always. You've got to have your name and whatnot there. I think could be a nice check and balance.
I don't think there should be an anonymous way to call it. That would be a straight, like, you have to call.
Yeah, and then like Gombian's just put in the chat actually like an abusive 311 being there. Like your abusive 911, abusive 311, something like that.
Oh my god, fucking Gombian.
I mean, if it's just like 311's help me up, then by all means let staff know, because again, that's abuse of a feature, and there will be issued a warning. Everyone needs to realize, like, they can't just sit there and spam abuse stuff. So if they are doing a 311 move, oh, can you come and help me up? Then let a member of staff know, do a /help, and then they'll be able to deal with it.
Okay. Drug pail. I'm assuming he means drug sales. In comparison to petty store robberies, one idle store in Polito can get to 7 to 10K, depending on whether you get a sticky note or not. 1 hour of weed, on the other hand, gives you $4,000. Not if you sell it properly. I
mean,
no one's realized that.
We have been out there and we have done the sales. We know what they can do maximum because we know the top ways to do it.
Actually, before I continue this, one thing I'm actually going to go back on with the legal jobs too is they are tied into things where we've been live. I think people have clued into this. Whatever, this is your gimme. Amazon, for example, is what is used to restock stores, and is going to be tied into restocking a lot of other things down the road as well. So there is going to be a server need to do said jobs. So just as an FYI, that's kind of the way the legal jobs are working.
The legal jobs are required for the economy to run.
Yeah, so basically we do rely on CivRP as well, and that's why we've entangled them together to make sure that we can get some form of CivRP. Obviously, we don't want crims being able to do absolutely everything. Again, it's a mindset thing. If you're a crim, look at it as should my crim be doing this? But yeah, like they've said, Amazon's tied into a store. So if you've gone into a store and realized there's absolutely nothing there, it's because there's no one running Amazon. And eventually everything will run out, and then the upside now is we have 2 resets. On reset, it automatically restocks it. But prior to that, if no one's running around doing like the deliveries and stuff, then obviously they're just going to stay empty.
Anyway, yeah, 1 hour weed gives $4,000 at the very most, again, not if you sell it right. Coke has a much higher risk than store robberies due to the amount of calls cops get being able to camp the airfields. They're not actually supposed to be camping the airfields. They're responding to calls. If they're camping the airfields, I'll deal with that. Due to server mechanics. 1 hour of Coke gives you approximately the same amount, if not less, according to the amount of money you paid. Yeah, so long story short, saying weed or drugs don't pay that much. I believe this ruins the economy, and I understand that drugs don't provide much RP, neither do Polito robberies. I was wondering if banks and drugs would be buffed in the future, as 2 hours of grinding shouldn't equal to picking 2 locks in the store robbery at the top of the city. Banks provide more risk within the interaction, and drugs overall a bit more are better than chain robbing. Again, you're chain robbing, you're getting banned, in most people's opinion. But at the moment, they're simply not worth it. I was wondering how this would be altered in the future with Vybe. So on that, I personally have extensively tested drug running. I will fully admit right now that Coke pays jack shit because of the way we had to, again, stop. So we altered Coke because literally everyone was running Coke.
There's talk of us putting the extra brick or boosting what you get off a brick in, but it's just been discussing.
But equally on top of that, Coke wasn't designed in my mindset of, let's do this Coke run and then go and sell it to an NPC. It was more of an RP based drug. Like
how the crack affects people. I'm not going to say how it does in case people haven't found out yet, but there is effects.
The Coke and crack is more of a player to player RP enhancement for specific things. Some will know, some may not know, which is why we won't go into what it does, but it gives you some form of benefit, which is why it's more valuable RP to RP rather than RP to NPC. Yes, RP to NPC, not RP to NPC, to NPC sales, yes, you can make a quick buck out of it. Yes, it's not great. That's the intention. We don't want that to be the sole intention of doing easy Coke runs ultimately, because they are. pretty much, until we start adding in some more RNG-based locations, which we'll be doing in the oncoming days. It's more for player-to-player interaction. So, to me, in terms of the Coke side, I think it's okay where it is, because, again, the whole concept of it isn't, I'm going to rely on selling this feature, I'm going to rely on selling this to an NPC as a feature. It's more of a, hey, I'm going to go and like talk to other people and maybe become a Coke dealer to actual players rather than heads.
See, and this is kind of like the discussion side of it, because I'm actually, I agree. Like, I think we should add a third brick to kind of offset, because again, higher risk to it. This is something we've been discussing for a while as staff. It's a back and forth thing. It's trying to find the happy medium.
Yeah.
Because right now, yes, if you do like math, Coke pays less than weed in the end, which I don't think should be the case. But again, it's something that we're going to address.
It should definitely pay more. 100% it should pay more, but equally, again, it's I mean, even weed, it was more of the insight as to, hey, I'm going to be able to deal with this going forward player to player, because again, you gain benefits from the weed as well as Coke, rather than just being a money grind sell and rinse and repeat, you know?
Okay, Kelly, I'm gonna go back. So just in future, guys, just create new tickets, or if you have too many tickets, just let us know. We'll close some, just because trying to jump between them is a pain. Going back to Kelly's ticket, she added in, can penal codes be more reflective of the risk versus reward with legal activities? Successful robberies, 2K plus, unsuccessful fine, 250 with 15 reduced time. I'm not quite sure what you're getting at there, but
I get where she's coming from. So you're basically asking for the fine to be changeable. We'd have to write in two penal codes basically into the table at that point, as the fine is automatically set by the table in the SQL. So it's like doubling the work we need to do. Again, it's the risk and reward. They're not always going to get caught. So I mean, because they get 2K off one, which they didn't technically get away with, they probably robbed 4 before that you don't know about. So I don't know. It's kind of risk and reward. I get where you're coming from, but
yeah, I personally I don't see any issue with, or like any need to adjust the fines, because they're so fucking low. Like, we purposely did that so there's, again, people aren't grinding for 2 hours, robbing one store, getting caught, losing everything they've done for the last 2 hours. That's why the fines are so low. It's more based on time, because again, there is stuff you can do in the prison.
Oh god, yeah, people can get out on a 40-month sentence in about 15 minutes.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but the actual server don't have enough people. So.
Yeah, I think you're wrong. I think the problem is the problem with like Gombian's coming up with here is the fact that you all went fucking Dora Explorer right at the start and went, oh god, we all know how to do everything. So yeah. No one is like the go-to for one specific thing, because you all went out and went, oh, I'll just do the lot.
Exactly.
Fuck everyone else.
That's the main issue that we had from the get-go, is everyone wanted to, like, you'd see people go, oh, hey, I found this, you go here, you do this. And rather than that, the whole concept and the whole thing I had in my head, because that would be my mentality, obviously not everyone is the same, would be a case of, oh, hey, you need some Coke? Okay, I can get you some of that. It's going to be this much. Not, oh, hey, go here, talk to this guy, go here, get this play and go there, do this, do that. Do you know what I mean? But everyone would rather...
The nice thing is we're starting to see now people are doing that.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate off the first. So hopefully as more and more stuff comes out, same with, because there's things that are coming out that, you know, you might find something somewhere and have to figure out where you use that or where that goes. I know some people have already discovered some of these. So that's kind of where, like, you're kind of forced to look for something then, but it makes sense.
I think it makes sense.
Oh, and there's definitely not a police raid happening this weekend on all the drug spots.
There's no.
Hey, Jamie, shut the fuck up.
There's no incentive to not take the risk or put effort into crime because the risk is so low. Yeah or no. I mean, the times are high, but the fines are low for the incentive of people aren't just going to lose absolutely everything in one hit. And
again, the times are only as high as you put them. I mean, if you've got someone in a I think this is where it comes back to, like, people see cop as there's black and white. It isn't. It's black, white, and grey. So
it's gray with a tiny bit of black.
yeah,
and white.
Then you're equally
there's
on
always
the
a
fence.
there's always a grey in the middle where if you've got someone in a store robbing something, and he's got a gun out, you go, okay, right. What I'm going to do for you is if you come out of here, I'm not going to put the store robbery on you. I'm going to charge you for the weapon. And then you've already you've already negotiated with him that his fine isn't going to be as high. So, and I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, please, Greg, if I'm wrong, correct me. But you're not going to fuck someone over doing that.
No, stuff like that. No, I'll be completely honest. The only people I deliberately fuck over are the ones that chain rob stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, you're equally looking in the regards of like where you say about the effort, the lack of effort. It's not even the lack of effort in terms of how much they're going to get stung for. It's just the mentality side again. Yeah,
it's the same as this is one thing I was going to address earlier too. Like we're at a store robbery, like these robbers where people just chain rob and don't have a hostage. There's 6 cops outside pointing guns and tasers at the door, and then you think it's just a good idea to just sprint out of the door, try to run past the 6 cops, and go to your car. Like, no, we're going to tase the fuck out of you. If you have a gun in your hand, I'm going to shoot you in the face. Like, again, just think about this stuff. It's not supposed to be just for easy money.
Yeah, Gombian, the fines were originally set on the first economy though, so I mean, the way that we kind of went with the server is we've doubled the economy more or less on where we first had it set, but we haven't adjusted the fines because we didn't really feel the need to fuck everyone over just yet.
No, same with like the fines. Again, I don't personally have an issue with the fines. There's a few things that the fine is very high for like some of the bigger stuff, but for the most part, again, we don't want to just like. From a comp RP side of it, we don't want to discourage people from doing anything because, again, they don't want to grind for 2 hours and then lose everything.
I think the main kind of aspect we need to look at as well is if people are saying it, then maybe we need to poll it with the community as a whole.
Yeah, and again, that's no way. Like if we come up with anything from this that we need to, that's not a problem. With more what Kelly's here, she said, also, can we have a physical GPS tracker that can and needs to be removed? I also wish people would disappear their evidence to avoid getting caught. It can be a physical item that can be located, i.e. clothing, masks, hat, that can be removed, ends up in your pockets or as an item on the ground. Also, DNA is still on the ground. Also, this DNA is still on the ground for an hour. So I think it's about 45 minutes before stuff auto despawns, give or take. Adding the GPS trackers and stuff like that, it's stuff that we can look at in the future. Other stuff to kind of throw people through loops of stuff they need to do.
Yeah, we're gonna look into maybe having it so if they toggle their clothes off, so if they take the shirt off and stuff, it rather than it being something that goes on the ground, it'll just put like an image within their inventory. So when you search them, you can then see their clothing. And you know that they've got clothing, and then you can
like we just
put it back on or whatever.
We just had a recent player report about this, and that's the thing too. Just because you can take off your clothes, like if it's getting abused, we're gonna step in as staff. But it obviously looks like we need to add a few more things, or I should say, Gore needs to add a few more things.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it as well. I mean, if the fines are up, people aren't gonna want to commit and do stuff because then yeah.
And that's my thing is you should like it should be less about time or about fines and more about people getting longer times. Like again, if you start shooting cops and stuff like that, I'm a lot harder on you in character because again, that's the way my character is and how it kind of, in my personal opinion, how it should be. Not everyone sees it that way. Some people get lower fines or lower times for stuff. It kind of is what it is. Obviously, too, there's some fuck around stuff where we give you jack shit, like when we roll up on Ricky with 2 fucking MRAPs with 50 cals because we were just happened to be out testing. Like we're not going to hammer you for stuff like that. Again, there's no black and white answer for any of this. This is a perfect example of it's all gray.
Yeah, I think it's very much a very gray area in terms of the whole fines and stuff. Probably something staff need to sit down and discuss. We'll probably run a poll with the entirety of the community as well and kind of get a general feel as to how everyone thinks. Like the prison side of it, there's prison RP there to be had when there's COs. Obviously COs are getting bored, hence why they get to go out on patrols. Equally, you can go and do stuff. There's going to be things that you can find and make within the prison as well in the very near future.
Yep.
Just saying. There's equally stuff at the prison that nobody's found yet. So, again, there's a lot of people saying specific stuff about specific things, and like everyone's saying, "Oh, we found everything. We're bored. But trust me,
you haven't found everything. Yeah.
People spent more time trying to fucking glitch their way through the gates that we put in than actually looking around the fucking prison. So that's on you guys.
It's the same scenario with everything though. They're like, "Oh, everyone's found everything," and you're like, "No, trust me, they really haven't. I know of 3 people that have found one specific thing, and now they're trying to find the next piece to that puzzle. I'm not going to say what it is, but yeah, there's many things left." Sorry, Greg.
No, you're good. I was gonna move us on. The VoIP system, because I think people would like to see us moving to Mumble at some point, so we don't need to use TS. My answer to this is hard fuck no.
I keep an eye on other servers. I keep watching around and seeing what other servers are doing. A lot of people have gone to Mumble, and 3 or 4 of the servers that I keep an eye on, their Discord and their forums and stuff, are all calling for going back to Toko, purely because the Mumble is cutting in and out for them. So if you want unstable audio, then sure, we'll go for Mumble.
I'm personally always going to say the TS, like TS, because it's more stable.
Yeah.
Emma loves her soundboard. That's why she's going to fight for fucking TS tooth and nail. From a staff perspective, it's a lot easier too. It's just TS is a better option. Again, if it's something down the road we need to address, we'll address it. But hard fuck no. I'm closing your ticket. Please don't enter another one. Even though I know you're going to.
Oh, you know he's going to.
Will we be getting new hair and makeup so Lauren, Legos, and Emma don't look like unfortunate triplets anymore?
Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Hey, it's okay, dude. James really wants to talk that shit. Just go look at the tips of his hair.
Dude,
he really wants to talk that shit right now.
Even if we add new shit, they'll still look like fucking triplets because they'll all be like, "Oh my god, I love that."
We all have the same hair. Let's do real hair, okay?
In terms of asking for hair and stuff, I'd say stick a ticket in. We can assign it to our asset dev and see what they can come up with.
We just brought another one on board for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have got some more clothing patches to push out at some point. Unfortunately, there is no space, so it will kill your current outfits. I haven't yet done it. I need to test it and stuff.
The makeup is a bug still. We are looking at fixing that in the near future.
Yes, makeup should be fixed this week.
Yeah, it's just been a bigger fix than we originally thought.
And it's been, to be completely honest with you,
it fell down the list.
It's been a bit long-winded to do, but it's been at the bottom of my priority list in comparison to other stuff that's been arisen, like everything else that's come to light, because that to me took more priority.
I think people understand that. I think bugs need to be prioritized.
I'm pretty sure 90. I think about 90% of the people. Yeah, I think 90% of people going on about makeup are mainly memeing. But yes, we get it. You want it. Yeah. It's getting worked on.
Stormy's definitely memeing now.
That do be true. We all do look the same. So
Gabe,
I know this was James, but SMH.
Gabe asked if there's an ET on houses and how that will work.
Covered that
earlier. Yeah, you can go back and watch it. Long story short is it's being worked on. No time frame yet.
It's going to be a thing. And just to kind of bring everyone else up to speed as well, in terms of like the drug stuff with the weed stuff, there will be a different way to do that down the road. It's already been worked on.
Watching one snow run around for 5 days trying to plant seeds was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, so basically you'll be able to get yourself hold of some seeds. As it stands currently, the seeds can't do anything, but it's because they're for a bigger cause.
Because they've got anxiety, they're scared.
Yeah. But yeah, they're definitely like the whole weed thing and housing stuff. It's all kind of collated together. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, that was the funniest meme I think I've seen.
But yeah, as for like memeing and stuff, even as staff, you see what we do. We fuck around as well. We're equally like you got at least 2 of you here have probably ran into the scenario of trying to refill your car with a jerry can now inside, right? At least 2 of you have ran into that one.
I reckon half of the people in this chat have ran into the jerry can fueling.
Again, makes you gotta think. Some things might have got put in out of haste, but then it makes more sense that you shouldn't use a jerry can inside a fucking car to fuel it. Bad things can happen.
equally, it makes more RP and it's quite funny. Obviously, at the time you guys are probably like, oh, what the fuck? But you know, us as staff sit there and piss ourselves laughing. So you're entertaining us at the end of the day.
Yeah, we definitely got Ash and Callie to test that one on stream for us when we pushed it in.
You guys got to remember too, as staff, we do deal with a lot of stuff like in and out of server. Like there's tons of times we have to stop in server doing whatever we're doing and help others or fix things or stuff like that. So yes, sometimes unfortunately it gets taken out on you in a very small, kind of funny way.
But yeah. $5.99. We kind of covered this earlier, but yeah, short of it. DLC cars will be added first before we start looking at the imports mainly. The economy won't be adjusted for it. As the cars come in, you'll see them go in at inflated prices, and they'll be up there. They may come back towards you in the future. So as the car
stock rotation, as well.
As the car becomes more common, you'll probably see it reduce in price. But the economy as a whole won't adjust because of cars.
Yeah, we're going to be introducing a stock rotation with cars as well when we release imports. Just so there's not like a giant influx of all this, everyone getting the same vehicle. We want to do it so every week has a different vehicle. That way you guys have a nice array of it rather than just going in there and going, show me every custom car you have. I want 10 of them, just as an example. We're gonna basically make it so you have to wait around and see more stuff for people to grind for. Hey, it's what people want at the end of the day. We're not the kind of people to turn around and be like, no, we're not giving you this. I mean,
well,
yes,
I am.
There's points you're gonna have. There's points you're gonna have to grind for stuff if you want stuff. But I mean, having an import car, it's not a necessity, right? It's not a necessity to make your RP. That's just people with the money mindset once again. But unfortunately, until people realize that's not the be all and end all of RP, then that's the way it will always be until they decide to learn otherwise.
And again, I like me personally, I don't think there's a huge, like, if that's the way you want to play, that's your RP, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. It's just we're not going to adjust. There's a way the server's set up and we're not going to adjust it to make it so you can make millions of dollars super easy. Next question, if tax are going to be a thing, will there be a mechanical way to launder money? It's something we will look at that point in time.
Yeah, there's plans for these plans are like in our roadmap. They're way in the future, these are, but we're looking at like some kind of white collar kind of crimes, where we're going to make Kelly obviously work for her money then, rather than just investigating, criminal scumbags. She's going to investigate smart criminal scumbags that are maybe laundering money through, trying to, deal in like stolen paintings and things like that, forgeries of paintings, and the more upper class sort of crime. So there'll be something like that coming around, but it is way further down our line because we've got to figure out how the hell we do it in code first.
Yeah, it's even the same with like even store robberies and bank robberies. I personally would like to see some way that money's not usable right away. Like you have to launder it somehow first, because then it stops people from immediately running to a bank and putting it up.
Or maybe some of it being marked.
Yeah, exactly. So there's stuff that we are going to look at. It's just right now
down the line,
it's going to be down the roadmap.
Funny you say fully stock market crime. I've actually been looking into bringing a stock market into Vybe at some point. Still a way down the line, but it's definitely going to be a thing. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned custom tattoos. I know it's a long way off, but how is it going to work? Explain, please. Who's going to make them? Can we submit designs that we want? Damien, you're up.
Okay, I guess a lot of you probably don't know what I do for a living. I've been a tattoo artist for 12 years. So what will happen is you will come to the tattoo shop. You will do it just like you do in person. You're going to come right in there. You're going to give your idea, just like in real life. I'm going to tell you it's not going to work and that it's partly dumb. And then we're going to do what's actually going to look good.
Perfect.
But on that too, I don't. Again, this is more of a gory thing because I'm kind of talking to my ass when it comes to coding. I don't think there'll be a major issue with if you want to submit certain things. It's just, again, you got to remember there's dev time and actually adding it in. So
the server syncing side.
Yeah, the server syncing side, stuff like that. So we'll probably have. I'm assuming we're gonna have like the regular tattoos and the customs as well.
Yep.
So if you want customs, it'll just be one of those things, don't expect it to be like, you walk up to Damien and be like, hey, I want this tattoo, and then have 20 minutes later. It's not going to happen that way.
Exactly.
It's gonna take days to get tattoo.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
custom.
and I mean, in terms of like usage and UI, obviously I don't know how people have been used to it. I've been in a conversation with Mike about it. We're looking at getting like the menus and stuff tweaked and changed around, and I know he said he's going to look into it for me. But basically it'll be like a preview thing, so you can kind of shuffle through each one and it will place it on you, and you can kind of determine where it's going to go, etc., etc. I haven't fully mapped it out yet. Again, it's more of a quality of life thing rather than it being a necessity to get in right now. So the plan of action right now is obviously the bug fixing scenarios, and then obviously other stuff that we want to roll out to you guys as well, that's kind of sat there not stagnant, but kind of sat there because I've decided not to push it out and potentially release more bugs. I'd rather get the array of bugs we've got left done, roll that out, and then we can start looking at the quality of life of stuff as well.
So
Also, Kelly just made a good point about that. It will be documented if the tattoo artist chooses to comply.
yeah. So the next question, Ricky's question: is there any new jobs being added? Yes. Next question.
Jeez, just cut him off real quick.
What?
Yes, there's a new job coming. It's an electrician job. Currently,
Just
we've
say,
only got.
let's just say yes and let them find it in server.
Oh, it hasn't been released, so.
I know, but
We're
it is
working on an
coming.
electrician job. We're not going to go through the whole long and short of what it does, but yes, there's going to be an electrician job coming out. And yes, there are more features due to be released very, very soon.
Yeah. Same with the other two, like creating a job, for example, isn't like a day worth of dev time for Gory. Like it can be a week, it can be 2 weeks, it can be longer. Like I don't know how long the dev's been working on the electrician job, but this is something we came up with yesterday. So just remember,
It depends on the plan of action, to be fair. I mean, if we have a plan of action, it can take a day. If we don't have a plan of action, and then we kind of escalate it a little bit more and make it a bit harder and stuff, then it can take longer.
Don't want to be a pain in the ass, but any idea when mechanics can do upgrades for people? A lot of people every day asking about it.
Me and Gory were speaking about this the other day and saying we need to get it in the near future.
Yeah, it'll be within the next couple of weeks, I suspect.
We just need to figure out the exact sort of amounts and methods that we're going to do it in.
Yeah.
Next question: would legal businesses be able to receive certain features in the
Such as
future,
what?
like maybe VU for stress reducement?
I mean, we could look into that down the road. Again, like with the whole business scenario kind of stuff, I know people want stuff added in custom code wise, but again, it's one of those where it will take time.
So,
but yeah, we can definitely look into like additional features and stuff like that.
so we might as well nail this while we're here, while we're sort of just brung up businesses. If you want, obviously, custom things to be put into businesses, we're gonna basically push you through the DOJ first, and they're gonna decide yay, nay, you're getting a business license kind of thing. At that point, then if there's more things that need to be done server side, they need to be aware of it at that point, and they'll have a reaction panel where they'll be able to then create a ticket and tell the staff team who needs adding to that ticket. So then like Gory, myself, and the other devs can look at what's needed for your business, and then we can sort of have the conversation back and forth in a ticket at that point. But we don't just want like everyone opening tickets up going, oh, I'm going to submit this business like proposal and I want to do this. We want it to be in a structured manner that, the business is definitely going to go ahead before we start even worrying about that conversation.
And then on the flip side to that as well, sorry, just while we're on the subject, a few people have asked me about MLO maps. It's not a problem having them and adding them in as and how you need them, providing you get the roleplay first and the fact you get the business granted. If you don't have the map, the one thing we ask is that if you want it to be purchased and you're more than happy to purchase it for your RP, I've had a few people do it now. The only thing that we ask as staff here is that we pay on your behalf. The reason being is obviously there's a lot of leaked stuff out there. We don't want leaked stuff in the server. So what we ask is that you put the relevant amount in as a donation. We'll buy it on your behalf. We'll happily send you the files over once we've been purchased because ultimately it's yours. But we will then drop it into the server for your use as well.
Yeah, like you said, the biggest thing we don't want to see is pirated files. There's other servers that do it, and one, it's just shitty because you're fucking over people that put a lot of effort into making those. The other thing is some devs out there actually purposely release the pirated version and just make it a fucking disaster so it tanks textures and stuff like that. So, again, same with, I can't remember what we paid for the hospital, but I think it wasn't
cheap, but we got
it was a lot.
Yeah, we're supporting the dev.
Just shy of €200.
Yeah. Will parachutes be added to the armored MRPD for ERT and Air 1 members? And will an updated weapons model for the M4 and having gas masks work when gas canisters are thrown or shot out of a gas launcher in the future?
Go and buy your own parachute and then just put your expenses ticket into Greg. He'll refund it.
Fuck off.
Yeah, something we can look at. As for the weapon models, yeah, possibly we can look at custom weapon models. Gas masks, I don't know if gas masks will work.
Gas masks might be something we'd have to look at actually making an item because
it's like everyone, scuba gear.
Yeah, having everyone running around with a gas mask just would make using gas canisters
God,
useless.
yeah, no.
Yes, tear gas and tear gas launchers is something I want to see for LSPD. Whenever Gory adds it or argues with you about why I don't need it, that'll be a down the road thing.
Yeah. Let felons buy melee weapons at ammunition. No. You can buy things at a store. Ammunition aren't selling things to felons, even though it's just like a hatchet or a big knife or something.
Will eye color get fixed? When you change your outfit, you lose the eye color. Doesn't seem to have the same when you leave the server and come back either.
It's currently client-sided. We need to make it a server-sided save.
As I say, I wasn't aware of that one. Is that like been bug reported?
Cam?
It has before, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was an issue where it was working, and then it was a thing where you would manually do it, like in a text box. So you want to go to a barber shop, and then Gory yoinked that out. I think it's been scuffy since.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen with me on my characters, but I have heard other people say it. Doesn't happen to everybody. It's a more client thing. Look at the rain.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, yeah.
Fucking one sync.
Like stuff like that, like because I mean, Cam, like I wasn't aware of that. I mean, I normally keep a good eye on the tickets and that. Just bang them in as bug report if you see little things like this. Sure, Gory's gonna absolutely hate me in a second for saying this, but bang it in. I mean, either we can fix it or we can just reply, yeah, we're aware it's on a list. Thanks. But without it being reported, we may just sit there and go, never knew about
that. With what Eva just said there too, gives more medical treatment for tear gas. Something else we talked about too is actually adding, like for instance for taser prongs, is just adding the ability to just like add like a command like / remove prongs. Might be something for that too. Before anyone tries to like sue the department when they get tear gas and be like, I had a reaction. 1 in 100 people have a bad reaction to tear gas or OC spray that lasts for like a couple days. And I think it's like 1 in like 500,000 that actually have like serious side effects. So if every single fucking person that gets tear gas is like, oh no, I want to sue because I'm hurt, fuck off. Makeup too. Okay. All right, what about adjusting how getting different sort of stuff into the server instead of making it grind based or look for based, make it where different people or gangs get rewarded for their RP and get access to distribute things. We've talked about this. This was talked about before we even launched the server. It's just
I don't want to get into the game of favorites.
Yeah, it's one, it's too hard a staff to manage.
It's
Two,
favorites. It's a favorites
it
game.
It becomes a favorite thing. Whether or not something is done purely based off their RP and there's no favoritism involved, you'll still get called out for favoritism. It opens the door to way too many ways to abuse. Like especially like let's say we give the family, I don't know, a specific gun that only they can fucking give to people, and we give the Bloods like a specific drug. Then it becomes an argument of which one's worth more, which one's better, why did they get it, we didn't. We want to keep the stuff all server based where you have to kind of figure it out and try to control it yourself. That's the RP you want. That way there's no there can't be any accusations or even bias in general. It's too hard to police. I get where you're coming from. I like the ideas. It's too hard to police. I don't know if anyone else wants to add anything else on that.
No, not really. Just like you say, game of favorites.
No, I
We don't
agree.
want to get called on that. It's just too easy. It's too easy that we turn around and say, yeah, we'll just give these people. I mean, the idea is that again, there's going to be a weapon crafting sort of tree as well. So hopefully there's going to be just certain people that can be the turn two people. So if you want to be in that group, then unfortunately your group and gang is going to have to do some work to be that group and gang. Again, that's going to be based upon your RP. I mean, I've listened and seen the stuff that like the Mafia guys have done, like Lauren, Greg, Legos and that, where, I mean, shit, I almost caught them the other day out doing their gone in 60-second impression where they're running around like four in a car to steal shit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You motherfuckers.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm perfectly legal. Sorry.
But yeah, no, it's like, they're out there as a group of people RPing and doing this shit, and collecting them materials and then injecting them all into one person. I mean, yeah.
So not Lofi on that too. Like, so I've blatantly dropped hints to stuff in big groups of people. They're very vague, and honestly, no one's clued in. Again, giving a specific hint to one person because we think their RP is good. Again, there's too much ability for bias there, because something you might think is good RP, I might think is dog shit. So it's something we'll talk about as a staff team.
You'll find if we're probably going to drop hints in, then we're going to do it through like Ollie that's doing the Weasel News stuff that'll we'll maybe just tell him to include a small like bit within a news article or something that's just completely off topic from the article but is actually like a hint towards something within the city.
Yeah, so so I'll just talk about that plan we have for kind of the police event-ish thing, because we haven't touched it yet. So like on that too, so we plan on having kind of server-based events-ish, where it's going to be, we're clearing out the evidence locker of a bunch of stuff and transporting it to a certain location for it to be destroyed. And that's something that we want to have somehow be leaked out, so it can be like something so you guys have a chance to try to hit it and get whatever may or may not be being transported.
Definitely not a ton of drugs and weapons.
Yeah. It's just something. I kind of look at it. One, it kind of, again, it's just giving some of this, like, it's nothing that we've had to spawn in as staff. It's all stuff that we're just giving, like the same with when I did that auction of materials last week or whatever. It's just giving stuff back to the community that we've taken as police, because we don't have to spawn it in. It creates some RP with that. With this, it's probably gonna. I think we're gonna use like Weasel. Like somehow it's gonna get leaked to Weasel News. But again, the main reason it hasn't happened yet is we're just trying to figure out a way to make it happen and make it make sense. Because I mean, me doing a server, like a fucking announcement, the server being like, "Hey, the police are doing this," like, makes it more of a staff-based thing. With that too, like I'll just like a little more on it. Like it's gonna be one of those things. Like it's not gonna be this stupid, heavily armed convoy off the start, because right now the RP isn't there that we need it. There's no reason to think that. I mean, yes, OOC, we all know everyone's gonna fucking hit it, but we don't know that in character. So there's no reason the very first one would be like heavily armed, and then the RP off that will go like how it's being hit, what's happening and stuff, and we're gonna adjust different ways of doing it in the future, because it's gonna be not so much a weekly thing, but it is gonna be a thing we want to have happen more and more and more. But yes, Ollie, we'll have to talk to you about.
Look at that, Ollie pops up in chat just when we need.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, that's kind of the plan with that. So it'll be like, leaked per se to Weasel News, and they can do something on it. And for those of you who catch it, you'll have the upper hand. But that way, again, it's not certain groups being told something and getting the upper hand on stuff.
Yeah, and anything Weasel News posts now should automatically ping into our Discord, and anything in there sort of bit on the forum is absolutely okay to use in character. So anything they include in news articles and that is 100% game to be used in character. It's picking up a newspaper and reading it.
All right. 3 things. 1, getting a paycheck at the mechanic shop while clocked on. If you leave the shop clocked in, punishment. because of the lack of us being able to make money. Repairs are really cheap, mostly around $50 as well. We don't have the discussion or the discounts on upgrades yet. Okay, yeah. So if you're clocking on, like, so it's the same with PDM right now. If you're clocking on and not doing the job, it's power gaming. You're literally abusing it. It's an in-game mechanic. I mean, you're getting an extra $5, but still, don't do it. It's shitty. Things like, I know I've been asked a lot in helps and stuff in game if people can like use like the Amazon trucks for criminal stuff and stuff like that. That we don't have an issue with, because at the end of the day, you're putting up a certain amount of money to take the truck and you're risking it, and you're not making extra money that you wouldn't be making otherwise. So we don't really see an issue with it because there's RP to be had there. Things we don't want to see is like people like, say, taking the Amazon truck and using it to like run weed. That doesn't really make sense.
So yeah, kind of like the first thing, first things Dave brings up, first and third, kind of tied together. Was it third? The mechanic's ability to upgrade, yeah. So there's going to be no paycheck, but obviously, well, there's no paycheck increase of more than the $20 because it's an RP based job. But on the obviously the backside of it, like we said earlier on, you're going to be able to do the mechanic upgrades cheaper soon. So I don't know. I know I was talking with Gory, and we were talking like a 50% reduction or something like that. Obviously, we're not going to say what the actual reduction is going to be on stream because we're only going to tell you guys that. So you can go out and you can make money off doing people's upgrades. You can have a price negotiation there. You can have the RP of negotiating a quote over that, and then like the middle one about the bank stuff. Polito Bank pays out more than a Fleeca Bank. It should do, yeah. It's RNG based.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna leave that one to be your guys' question because I have no fucking idea how that works.
Yeah, Polito and the Auto Street Bank pay out more than all the others.
You gotta remember, we can just go get our cars repaired at Benny's too. They're not, so can't really do that. If clothing is coming about, can I submit custom designs? I want them to be added. And would it be best way to and what would be the best way to submit them?
Open a ticket.
Yeah, open a ticket and talk to us in a ticket.
You could assign Chang to the ticket.
We'll put the clothing dev into your ticket.
We need a finance system for PDM, and the house is coming up. We also need to be able to test drive cars when PDM workers pull them out cars for test driving. Okay, so the test driving ones.
Again, we talked about this the other night, didn't we?
Yeah, this is just discussed. So there is going to be a test driving system coming out. For the now, the workaround is right now with Lauren being the only staff member there. She's just going to spawn the vehicle in. There's going to be a certain financial thing you need to put up to test drive it. And some kind of general ground rules for it. That's kind of a workaround for now. But in future, there is going to be a mechanic where all the PDM dealers can do that. It's just, again, there's going to be, we don't want to see people like, putting up money to test drive a fucking T20, then going and robbing a bank with it. That's not the kind of intent of that. So there's going to be some ground rules and some kind of other stuff put in place for that. But for the moment, it's unfortunately it's shitty because only a staff member can do it. But it's at least our workaround to at least allow it to happen.
Yeah, back. Sorry, just to elaborate on that. Like, I ride with them when they test drive the car, and man, if they're going to be dumb and do the stupid shit and all that, they're going to just get blacklisted for the shop.
And that's going to be like kind of one of those things too with the other dealers. Like when they can do it, it might be like they have to ride with. Again, it's something we just discussed the other night. Kind of came up with a quick fix, and then something else coming down the way. Finance system for PDM and the house is coming up. That's something we discussed during the early days.
We discussed it the other night. Me and Aaron did about putting a finance system in. We're going to look at doing it. Whether we do a finance system at PDM for the car itself, or whether we do something down at the bank for a loan system so that you could go and take like a financial loan out. But remember, this is going against your character. So I mean, if you can't pay, expect for us to be taking shit away.
Yeah. So, and this kind of goes back to.
Just reminded me of the can't pay, we'll take it away.
Dude, that's where I was in my head. I was like, you can't pay, we'll take it away. Yeah. Send the bailiff around your house and it's getting fucking taken, bro.
Hey, we can make a new RP.
Yeah, fucking repo, man.
Dude, I'm all up for repos.
But and this is kind of where I'm going back. We weren't addressing this earlier, but this is where I'm going back to all the people that were kind of complaining about grinding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is again kind of the in between. So you still need to work for shit, but at least you don't have to grind
To get it.
110K for a fucking 96 Honda Civic.
you fucking Honda
Pretty
Civic.
much.
When I saw the price of that thing the other night, I was like, "You fucking kidding me?"
Yep, you keep talking that shit.
Dude,
Oh,
I
guys, and then
can't
you know why.
I can't tell you in this stream why that car's that price.
I
Yeah.
can tell
test
why
drive
it's
then.
that price. I'm just gonna keep talking shit because it's a 96
So-
Honda Civic.
Hey, yeah, let's talk shit about your Dubster.
My kind of idea behind the financing thing is probably going to be more down the realms of a bank loan. Everyone will start off with a neutral credit score ultimately, and if you miss payments, then your score will go down. If you make payments on time, it will slowly increase. The highest score you get, pretty much like real life, the higher score
Yeah.
you get, the more you can potentially loan. The lower
And
score
for
you
the
get,
longer
which-
periods of time and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you get a longer period, and the lower it goes, then the worse the interest rates are, depending on how low it is. And then obviously, if it goes even worse, it will then turn around and be like, "Well, no, we can't give you this loan because we can't trust you to pay it."
Bro,
Yeah.
the best point in chat's just come up. Here's Greg taking the piss out of a fucking 96 Civic, and he's riding around in a fucking Panto,
okay,
bro.
First of all, my Panto is the shit.
Oh,
Like,
here
the
we
Panto is
go.
awesome.
Yo, bro,
My
give me that
Panto is
96
fucking awesome.
Civic. Fuck this Panto, bro.
Yeah, ask Wally what happened when Emma drove the Panto and rocket shipped him. Also, I bought an $83,000 luxury fucking G-Wagon that says it has a fucking 6.5 liter engine. That's a slow piece of shit. So I'll stick with my $4,000
Yo,
that goes
dude,
faster.
I don't know about that.
It's
Alright.
just heavy, all right? It might have
Just
a big
heavy,
engine, but
man.
it's heavy, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be
'Cause
better
it's
on
got
other stuff,
your
too, under,
fat
like, your
ass
Panto,
in.
dude. You're out here drifting. You try to do a drift around a fucking corner, you can spill across the street. You know?
I keep hating on the Panto.
I'm not hating on it. You wasted your money on that. I wasted my money on that fucking Buccaneer Rider. So gory piece of
Yeah, you
shit.
get you. Oh, that's what you get for getting debated by Aaron. Sorry for the array of tickets. Don't worry about that. This is the best way for us to respond, so don't be sorry about put tickets in. Speaking of custom businesses, I have sort of a way to simulate a market which is very out of RP for the actual grasp, but I'm assuming means obviously money and risk would be IRP. This would be something I could discuss.
Yeah.
IK Gory plans and at fucking zoomers in your
It's the whitelisted white collar crimes sort of
that's
stuff.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
that's gonna be something down the road.
Yeah, it's solely we were talking with during beta. So yeah, we'll come back to you and talk with you more on that. Obviously, as we go forward, it is distant future at the minute. There we got loads of other shit to finish fixing and working on and introducing, but it will come eventually.
I'm going
All
to
right.
jump in before the new ticket comes through. As like an FYI, but obviously I've mentioned the electrician job. We've also got, I saw it mentioned earlier, hunting. That's going to be a thing, but not the kind of hunting that you guys are probably familiar with. It's going to be a little bit different. You have to have a permit for one. For two, there is baits that you need. But equally, I kind of briefly spoke to Jamie. I'll give you guys a bit of an insight in this one today as well. We're going to be looking at like a black market exotic animal dealer, which will sell illegal baits for like hunting specific animals, which will go through the police and DOJ, which ones are to be banned from hunting, and they will equally purchase them from you as well. And yeah, I still have to figure out what to do with like meats and stuff and like carcasses and shit, but we'll figure that out as we go. It's already been started to work on. I started working on it last week. I've got a decent kind of way through it already. I haven't got as far in as I wanted to. But
If I find out any of you fuckers are hunting dogs, you're going to jail forever. Just putting that out there. Fucking ever. I catch your ass, you're going to jail for fucking
So
ever.
that's going to be a thing, and I think we'd probably do something regarding fishing as well, and get that brought out so you can do like exotic animals through fishing, i.e. like dolphins and stuff. We can look down that kind of realm as well.
Absolutely. So the next ticket is Ricky's being a bitch and doesn't want to put a ticket in.
Oh, I wanted to call him out.
I think we're all waiting for a chance to.
Everyone's calling Ricky out for being a bitch and not putting his own ticket in. But congrats to Gabe for putting his ticket in for him. He's wondering
Wondering
if
if-
there's jobs that people can do if you're a felon, not in need of a driver's license, don't know what jobs. Obviously, there's stuff coming down the line that you're not going to need driver's licenses for. But let me just say this:
Yeah, I was gonna say, give the hint on it.
just because you need a driver's license, there's nowhere that says it has to be yours.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you can't still do said job.
Just
Yeah.
don't get caught driving.
It says you need a driver's license. It doesn't say fuck all about it being your driver's license.
Doesn't say
Doesn't
whose
say
license
whose
it needs to be. Yeah, so there is balances in there considering that you get your license revoked. That practically you just need a driver's license.
Yeah, again, it's another countermeasure. So yeah, you lose your license, but you're not penalized.
Yeah, you can still go do the job,
Right.
but obviously if you get pulled over by the police, you're then doing it without a license.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they catch you doing it, stuff like that. Walk styles being saved after you relog or when you go down. That's a gory question.
Unsure. If I'm honest with you, it would be my straightforward answer. There's a lot of issues I found with walk styles. I.e., if you're using a walk style during house robberies and stuff, it's to be considered currently as power gaming, I guess, because if you're using a walk style, your threat meter doesn't go up. I will verbally tell everyone that because now you all know that I know. So yeah, I don't know if we're gonna make it a savable thing. Again, it's another quality of life thing that we can look at further down the line. But as it stands, it will just stay as is for now.
Okay, so more events and on weekends too would help bring the population, and the scavenger hunt was fun. Anything in the works?
Yes,
I know
there is,
Lauren.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I know Lauren.
Would be the short answer. Yes, there are things in the works. Yes, there will be things coming.
Same as I've been doing kind of impromptu events here and there, like at late nights and stuff when there's only a few people on the server. Like the other week, I spawned in a bunch of
Fucking king of the hill, didn't you?
yeah, we had I spawned in a bunch of the what the fuck are they called? Mavericks? Or something? They're like
Marshals,
the
aren't they?
Marshals, yeah, the Marshal. They're like the monster truck. And we had like a race through the hills and like a king of the hill thing. Like there's no like we're not giving out like stuff like that. We're not giving money or stuff. It's just purely for fun to fuck around. But we're gonna try to do stuff like that too. And it gives and when you guys have ideas for events, submit them to us, like by all means.
Gonna be things like that. It's gonna be things like Sanchez races and stuff on like dirt tracks. I think there's gonna be more scavenger hunts. I think there's gonna be. I think paintballing's making its way in at some point once we get a map created for it.
The one thing I kind of want to say with events is the calendar on the forum. Everyone that's whitelisted can post on it. So if you've got an event that you want to run and it requires no staff assistance, then honestly, crack on and fucking just post it and do it.
Yeah, people did a.
We're a community.
underground fight
Go
club.
for it.
Yeah, there was an underground fight club. I don't know the fuck underground fight club that was run purely by the community with no staff involvement a little while ago, which was pretty good.
Fight
Yeah,
Club
It's
do
pretty
become
big
in
too.
from another point of view though soon. Very soon.
Yeah. So yeah, events. I mean, you guys run them as well. I mean, post them on the what's it on the calendar on the forum. You can all post on there. Just be aware that when people post in, I think it's EST and CST times, that the UK time gets fucked up because for some reason it converts it to. I don't even know what time it's trying to convert to, but it doesn't take
Real
into
time.
account the 2 daylight savings that we're both in. I don't know.
I'll say it probably puts us an hour behind.
No,
instead of an hour
it puts
forward.
us to like 9 when it just didn't work. It like made a 7-hour difference. It was like it used their daylight saving, but didn't use ours. And then yeah, it was weird how it did it.
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah.
kind of like. But again, that's the whole kind of like how relaxed we are with everyone here. If you do have stuff like that, you don't have to come to us and be like, "Hey, I want to do this." It's a case of look, if you're gonna do it, chuck it in the calendar and just crack on. If you do need staff, potentially just give them a nudge and be like, "Hey, I might need some assistance with this." But if you don't, again, just run off and do it. You know, there's no issue.
If you need staff help, open a ticket. Just boom, open a ticket for the questions for staff. And one of these guys will reply back on it. Best way, honestly, anything you need like staff for, ping a ticket because you'll get the quickest answer that way. If you like hit one of our DMs, the chances are it'll either get lost in there, or the person will end up sleeping and won't reply.
The
So
other
yeah,
thing about DMs too is if you do a ticket, we're all aware of staff versus one person knowing, and if they forget or just tickets,
just
please tickets.
ticket us honestly, and like we get on at each other. We're like, dude, you didn't answer that ticket.
I did see someone suggest about suggestion forum earlier. I think it was Sneezy. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
it
it's
was.
there.
Yeah. It will come at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be pushing that out hopefully this week. Everyone's had enough time in there now to kind of get to grips with stuff. Obviously, yes, the RP in areas could improve and stuff like that, but obviously we do want people to have their say so as well. So we will be looking to open that up.
Yeah, I think kind of more after the roadmap's released too to everyone.
Yeah,
Give an idea of
so
what's coming.
people can see what's on the roadmap and everything before you start putting suggestions in that we've already got, because then we're just wasting time looking at them.
That's it. Obviously, the roadmap won't go into like full depths of what stuff's going to be doing, but you'll kind of see, like, just as an example, because I've already told you about the hunting, you'll see like somewhere on the roadmap you'll see hunting release.
Like the plan is, I think they're going to come up with a actual like this roadmap that we can see as staff, and then I'm going to kind of convert it over to a redacted version, for lack of a better term, and release it.
I was going to try and get both done. I was going to draw one up nice and pretty for the community one and make that visible on forums, and then you guys can just have the Google Doc edit one that we're going to work off, basically.
Got it. All right. Beanbag shotguns for correctional officers and or riot gear and riot shields. Aaron? I believe so.
Beanbags I've actually looked into. I need to see if there's a way that I can add them in without taking away the actual shotgun, because I know it's a replacement rather than an addition. Riot shields, fuck no. Too OP, so no chance. They're bulletproof, and yeah, they're just ridiculous. I've seen them used before, and yeah, it doesn't go very well. But definitely beanbag shotguns. I like the idea of that. Yeah, that's about it, really. But yeah, I'm gonna look into that and see what I can do with the beanbags.
So, okay, so this is actually just like with transparency discussion we've had a while ago too. When it comes to riot shields, like that was Aaron's biggest concern, was like they are OP as fuck. But that's where there's going to be a kind of a counterbalance. So, for example, police have a riot shield, crimps have Molotovs, stuff like that. I will fully admit it's something I'm going to keep bugging for, but that's the future down the line.
Set the bacon on fire. I'm in.
He just asked, can they be made to be broken?
But not because they're bulletproof. There's no way that you can actually then change that, because it's a collision based through the actual shield. So it doesn't matter how much you shoot at it, it will still be impenetrable.
Yeah. So again, it comes down to one of those things. There needs to be counters in place for it. But so if it ever becomes a thing from the police side of the house, it will be heavily restricted of when it can be used. And that's just saying if it ever becomes a thing, because it is super fucking OP. So
it has to be something equally as strong for the opposite side at the end of the day.
Molotovs.
Yeah, there's Molotovs, but again, it's one of those, do you want to go down that realm? Currently, anything throwable isn't in the server. I mean, we could release sticky bombs and C4, and we could go ham on all of this, but it would be dumb.
Yes, it would. So again, it's just something to talk about down the road. Like even making it to like it possible where it doesn't protect your legs. I don't know. I don't know how this shit works. It's something it's a down the road thing.
What do you mean, Corey?
As like an example, Mike sent me a video of a phone app that he saw, and I kind of got the inkling that he wanted to add it into his. But basically, you can rig a bomb to a car, and then you can dial a specific number from your phone, and it'll blow the car up.
I was gonna say,
looks amazing, looks really good, but there's 0 RP there.
I was gonna say, Aaron, didn't we discuss this and we put it at like level 200,000 crafting points or something? The sticky bombs. Good job, Legos.
Honestly, it would be kind of one of those things. It'd be something that it could be fun here and there. Just unfortunately it'll get abused to fuck, and it would have to be something that's rare to come across.
And when you make the first one, it prestiges your points.
Yeah. I But once you make it, that's it. You're fucked. You have to start again.
Yeah. If you really want to fucking remote car bomb the Chiefs car, go for it. But enjoy getting your fucking points reset.
That'd be fucking hilarious. That really would.
One other thing, what I remember, probably off topic to what we were just talking about. So on server restarts, please just try and bear in mind that the server still needs time to restart all maps, etc. A lot of people end up trying to get in like first within a couple of minutes of it restarting. Yes, it does restart fairly fast, but you need to bear in mind that it's still restarting all the resources and stuff. And sometimes I have to delete the cache, which then equally means it takes a little bit longer. So then a few of you might jump in a bit earlier than what you should. And then you'll walk into some slight scuff, like Legos is a Papega with the whole getting in as number one, but then sometimes becoming a male instead of a female, and that's because not everything's loaded correctly.
Yeah, it's because the server's not finished loading.
Obviously, I don't really want to add in a restriction to prevent people from doing that, because I believe a lot of people here have some form of common sense to be like, okay, I'm going to give it 5 minutes between being kicked out to loading back in, and then you should go in with no issue. If you don't have the common sense, then I mean, we can add that in, obviously, but
There's no real perk to being the first person in unless you really want number one. Like, not a big deal. So
I mean, we could just set everyone's Q prio up to be like 100 and Legos as 0, so she's theoretically never first.
I'm in. I'm in just to troll Legos.
That's the other side as well, because I didn't cover that one. So Q priorities, right? We don't obviously, like, supporters get a form of Q priority from, I think it's silver upwards, right? But based off of your RP as well, if a staff member sees that you're doing some good RP, we can give you a better Q prio. Obviously, as it stands currently, where the server isn't at full capacity, again, 5 weeks in, the Q prio side of it is probably irrelevant. But then hopefully a number of months down the line, we'll start to pick up more. We've got some strategic plans that we want to put in place in terms of marketing and increasing the player base. So ultimately, that could again be beneficial further down the line.
yeah. So and like I know I've had a few DMs about it. People brought it up here too about, like, you know, the server population. I think like we're usually sitting around 40 or so. And it is what it is at this point. Like, it's a brand new server. It's whitelisted only. It needs to get out there for people that actually want to play, and we need to get a lot more of the stuff in play for that incentive. Obviously, those of you that have been here since day one are going to have an upper hand on people joining in. Like, you know, we could open it up, make it non-whitelisted, and have the server full in 5 minutes. But I would rather have 40 people who know how to RP than 128 people, and fucking 3/4 of them are playing GTA Online.
Dude, I'd much prefer than 40 people.
Oh yeah, for sure. But with that even being said, I mean, my initial forecast initially was that I didn't see us pushing 20 people in the server for the first few months.
Yeah, Emma nails that point just in the chat there. I mean, I get on normally during EU hours where there's like literally, I mean, when I first got on, there's usually about 10 to 15 people. And then as the night goes on, it starts to get up to the 20. And then, you know, you start to see the 30, 40 number. But when there's just 10 of us in the server, I'm forever pulling over fucking Mickey Carter and having some good fucking roleplay with Manic.
Yeah.
And the same, right? Everyone, right, knows Pablo and how much of a fucking shithead he can be. But I've had some of the best RP with Pablo in the server. When he's on his own and he decides to pull his car over and gives me, like, the fucking best story I've ever heard in my life about why he's in the stolen car. And
I mean,
like,
I tried to pit Pablo on a stolen car the other night with a helicopter. It was hilarious.
But
You
yeah,
ever seen a helicopter try to hit someone before? It's great.
but yeah, no, there's like, you know, even though it is low pop, there still is some great RPs to be had. You do bump into each other and have the role play.
Yeah, and then like we said, it will grow over time. We're brand new, like we're 5 weeks in. It'll grow over time. It's just, again, we're not just opening the floodgates and letting everyone in. Like, we want to see decent RP. The apps are hard for a reason. We're kind of strict on some of the stuff we see players do because of how loose we are with what we're allowed to do. Like, there's so many things that we've put in the server that can be so easily abused. We don't want just a bunch of shitheads coming in and doing that, because then it's no longer fun. Kelly, I'm not even gonna watch your YouTube clip. I already know you're talking about the house robberies and how fucked up they are for
How
cops.
you end up on the
it's
rooftops? Yeah,
the rooftops and falling through and all that shit. It is being addressed.
Something we're looking into, and we keep looking into.
Yeah, it is being addressed. I think Aaron's been working. I talked to Aaron about it the other day actually, because I personally never saw how broken house robberies were from a cop side till I went to a couple. I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
this fucking sucks.
I went to the first one the other day, and I was like walking around inside, and all of a sudden got kicked out the house. I was like, "Bitch, you called me to get the fucking guy out of your house."
Yeah, so there is a couple things that is going to get addressed with that. I think it's a near future thing. Aaron can comment more on that.
Yeah, it is. There's a few edge cases with it. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. Again, it is being looked into and investigated, and obviously being handled both sides. The issue I walk into currently with myself fixing it is I have to try and drag someone else in to help me. Not everyone is available at every point. Again, it's being worked on. It will be pushed out as a fix in the very near future. A lot of the stuff has been fixed from the first round of house robberies, i.e. like being able to re-enter a house and stuff. Obviously that side of it's all gone. So now we're kind of in like the second phase of ensuring that there's no further problems with it. So once we get these fixes done, we should be in a good state with it.
I'm going to just kind of address what Katie said there right quick too. So
that's Kelly's about the cops. Yeah.
With rental papers.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. It's RP based, so I've had this kind of come up with a bunch of different stuff. Not every cop is going to kind of go along the same route of RP with you, and the same, like, it's kind of like it's a hit and miss thing. For example, like I've gone to robberies where like they clearly didn't have a hostage and they just kind of fucked around and pretended or did something, and the RP was good and I let it go. And there's other times I'm just like, no, you don't have a hostage, we're coming in. It's kind of a hit and miss. And it's kind of like one of those things, if it's an idea that someone has done a bunch of times and they want to go along with or not, it's a very gray area where sometimes they'll go with it, sometimes they won't. We can't kind of enforce people to go with stuff like that. It's just kind of who you are and how you RP. Obviously, there's been stuff that we've addressed where people have blatantly done stuff we don't like from cop or crim side, and we've spoken to the individuals. But there's no way to kind of force someone to go along with that line of RP, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you've also got to remember that person may have had five traffic stops already that day, and they've let 4 people off already for the same thing. So they want to mix their RP up. They want to see something different. They want to say, nah, dude, these papers are falsies are fake, and then see where you take the RP from there. To mix their role play up a bit. Just remember, the cops roleplay can get very repetitive, especially like your store robberies. Oh, it's just the same fucking shit store again. It's another hostage. This guy thinks he's got all the power because he's got a hostage. On my cop, I turn up to any robbery, there's a hostage, and I tell them the only reason I haven't come through the door yet is because that person's stopping me shooting you. And they're like, no, bitch, I'll shoot the hostage. I'm like, please, then I can come in and drop you.
Yeah, it was the same if there's a Evangelico robbery where Pablo tried to do it solo one day with a hostage, and he turned around and we just walked in and shot him in the face. Like, it's not always, a hostage isn't always your end all be all of you're getting away. And it's again, that's unfortunately one of those really, really hard points to drive home with some people, because some people, I understand some people don't get that. They don't always have to win, or they don't always have to kind of come up on top. But at the end, you got to remember, at the end of the day too, the cop's job is to try to catch you. So I mean, there's trying to catch you, and then there's being overzealous. So it's kind of finding the mix of in between. Next one is any fixes on the weather issues. Example, you're in a police chase and you have rain, but the cops don't, which puts you at a massive disadvantage.
We keep looking into how the syncs working.
I know
it's a V-Sync thing. With the current weather sync we're using isn't V-Sync, so I'm going to be moving us over to V-Sync. Yeah. Because I know it's a more stable. I know, obviously, I've used that.
We're running like an async version, weren't we? We need to swap it over to a V-Sync.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things that's on my list to get done ASAP, because it is an issue. On top of like a small handful of other stuff that I've done through this week. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things that is.
You gotta remember from that too, like this isn't like it's not just a cop advantage because it might be the exact opposite where cops have rain and you don't.
Oh,
So
dude,
it's
that was me the other day. I was out in the Mustang and I could not keep the back end because it was raining for me.
I was in a pursuit and I was driving the Bearcat because we just happened to have it out from something else. I was trying to keep up and it was raining for me. It was a fucking nightmare. So yeah, it's a sync issue. It's not giving one particular group anything like that an advantage. Another thing to address too, you gotta remember like a lot of stuff right now does have to be RP'd out because there's no mechanics per se in place per se to kind of adjust it. Like for example, like the diamond rings. Like we all know you only get them from two places: Vangelicos or house robberies. So we automatically always know they're stolen. It's just you got to RP like there's it's an RP side of things and like whether like how it's gonna get played out that you have them, because again there's no real mechanic way to tell. It's just again it's really annoying from the cops. Like every time it's like I've heard it's my grandmother's rings like 6,000 times. Like we're not gonna go with that every single time. So just kind of keep that kind of stuff in mind. Hopefully eventually in the future there will be a way that they can kind of come up as stolen or not stolen, and then it kind of creates more to it there. But for now, we got to work with what we got. Final ticket we have right now. Well, can we do something? Okay, I'm assuming Callie. Again,
I'm just watching it real quick.
I'm assuming it's just the local. Goes
I
back.
presume
to
they shoot or the cops shoot or something. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's the whole. They have a knife, and the locals don't aggro on them, but aggro on the cops.
They should do it to both.
The local won't aggro with the knife, will they, unless they stab at the person?
Yes. So they're probably more intimidated by a gun.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, yeah.
That'd be why. That's not really anything we can do. That's more of a GTA thing in general.
Yeah.
I mean, the only theoretic thing we could do is prevent
them from aggroing, but
anyone in general.
We kind of don't want to do that because that just spoils the whole.
No, we use the NPCs and the locals as actual kind of PvE environments for certain things. So,
yeah, unfortunately, that's just one of them things. I mean, yeah,
have to make your crosshair bigger.
Make your crosshair bigger. There's a dude swinging a golf club. Do we actually get golf clubs? Can you buy them?
Yes. No, you can't buy them. You got to find them somehow. I've got one. I'm very happy about it. Don't ruin it for me. It was a gift, and it's a very important gift. It's going to get used on someone's fucking kneecaps.
That's fine. But yeah, no. Yeah.
I think it's been constructed.
So yeah, if you shoot in the hood, I mean, of course the fucking locals are going to come after you. If you like aggro on a fucking local with a knife, I mean, they're going to come on you. It's picking your weapon system, isn't it?
I get where she's going with it because she's got the concern of being abused.
Chase the guy with a fucking flashlight, and he probably won't aggro everyone.
Yeah, true that.
I was gonna say flashlight or batons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any form of melee weapon, you'll be fine.
It works both ways though. I mean, if the guy comes out the house with a fucking pistol drawn and shoots once, I mean, all the locals are aggroing on him. Cops
I'm
don't
closing all these
shoot. We're
questions,
laughing.
by the way, that we've addressed.
Hey,
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Has everyone got something from like the Q&A we've done? I mean, it's been like fucking 2 hours.
What does Gary want for his birthday? The Fountain of Youth. Moving on.
Fountain of Youth. What an asshole.
Fuck it, he chirps me all the time. I get back when I can.
But yeah, hopefully everyone's got something out like the whole Q&A that we've done. Can we all selectively shout at Rockstar? Look, dude, the problem with like women in general in the server getting downed in like one hit with a flashlight is the 20 health difference. The males have
Rockstar is sexist.
the males have like a 200 health pool, and the women have like a 180. And that's why the women go down and the guys don't. Okay, I'm just saying, there's fuck all we can do about that. That's how GTA was built. Just because you want to run around with fancy dresses and shit, that's why, and these nice haircuts, that's why you get downed, all right? Turn into a bloke and run around and everyone will look at you when you talk with a higher pitched voice than the guy, but yeah, you'll be sound.
Has anything else come up? Anyone else thought of anything? They just ask it in just the main chat now. We made it through everything.
But yeah, hopefully everyone's enjoying Vybe and enjoying what we're trying to do with it, and you've taken something away from the Q&A. We've been as open as we can. I mean, we didn't pre-discuss any of these questions, so anything that we sort of disagree or whatnot, we've done here. Can I get the staff team to react to the video I just posted in media? Yeah, I'm not watching it. There's my reaction. What did Ash post?
He didn't even post a video. He posted a Twitter link.
Is it a video on the Twitter link?
No, I didn't click it.
Oh, LSPD training video where your attackers won't cooperate. I don't think I can.
Oh, I think we should probably call it.
Yeah,
Doing
I'm pretty cool to call it there, and I mean, I fucking go to bed at last and get up in the morning. But yeah, if everyone's all done, thank you very much for coming along to the stream tonight. And yeah, any questions? Basically, the answer is open a ticket. We answer tickets way quicker than we answer DMs. I'll look at my
helps.
Yeah, I look at the tickets way more often than I look at my fucking DMs. I'm not even gonna lie.
Finally over.
The only DMs I tend to reply to, and I'm not gonna like lie here, is the staff DMs or people that I am genuinely like friends with. So yeah. That's not me being an asshole or anything, but I mean that's my DMs. Like I'll talk with all the staff team in DM and whatnot, but yeah, open tickets.
Or if people would actually DM issues to me that they're having with the police rather than like other people that slowly trickles back to me, I'd be a lot happier.
Yeah, I mean there you go. Greg's happy for it, but yeah, if I'm genuinely friends with you, I'll DM with you for a bit, but yeah, chances are I won't reply to DMs. Smash it in a ticket, you'll get a way quicker response. But yeah, if everyone's good, then I'm gonna say goodbye. Fuck you. Send memes to Greg. The last thing though, before we go, I want you all just to go into general chat and tag.
If you fuckers at me, I will ban every single one of you that does it.
And tag Gombian a million times again, because he's like finally over. So let's see Gombian get tagged up the same as we did after the fucking restart.
All right, someone's getting banned. All right. This is fuck you, Aaron. I can't shoot.
Oh, there we go. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna mute all of us up in the chat now. Just gonna put the music up and then we'll stop the stream in a few minutes. Thank you. Good night. God bless. And goodbye.